weekend getaway with many tourist attractions. The Kolarama Temple, the Someshwara Temple built by the Cholas and expanded during the Vijayanagara period. The Koti Lingeshwara Temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva, which has a staggering collection of over 60 lakh Shivalingas, including one which is 108 feet in height, is believed to be one of the highest in the world. Not just this, Kolar is synonymous with gold. The now defunct Kolar gold fields is believed to be the world's deepest gold mines and one of the oldest, as it has a history of mining since the 5th century. At the moment, Kolar is one of the largest milk producers in the world. And what makes it a best tourist destination is that it has one of the best AQI among cities in India. Adding to the list of tourist attractions is the brand new Zion Hills Golf County. It hosts PGTI this week in a challenging 18-hole golf course designed by the legendary architect Ronald Freem. Expansive granite shells, rusty boulders, and abundant lakes interweave with the rolling greens to create a course that will challenge the best golfers in India and abroad. Which is why the best are making the heroic entry into this week's Kolar Open 2025. Hani Basoya of the DLF Golf and Country Club Gurugram and Nepal's Subhash Tamang were tied third at 3 under 213. Pune's Udayan Mane, who ended up as the round 2 leader following his course record score of 67 on Wednesday, came up with a 71 on Thursday to drop down to second place at 5 under 211. Delhi's Shaurya Bhattacharya delivered a tournament low score of 6 under 66 to build a 3-shot lead. Shaurya, a 2-time winner on the PGTI and a winning earlier this year, moved up 4 spots from his overnight 5th place as a result of his 66.
To all our viewers from the Zion Hills Golf County here close to Kolar in Karnataka, you see beautiful aerial views of the Zion Hills Golf County, a new venue for the PGTI. And here's a little update for you. Shaurya Bhattacharya, the overnight leader, has been going steady at the top, being 1 under through 5 holes, while Udayan Mane narrows the gap with the leader to 2 shots, being 2 under after 5 holes. And there's someone making a big move, Kshitij Naveed Kaul, with 4 birdies on the first 6 holes. Promises to be a fascinating day's contest here at the Zion Hills Golf County. And here's the unveiling of the trophy by Mr. George, MD, Zion Hills Golf County, and Mr. Amandeep Johal, CEO, PGTI. There you see the beautiful trophy for this inaugural edition of the Kolar Open. A shake hand there by the 2 dignitaries. And this is what our players will be playing for, the coveted prize. So, without wasting much time, we'll get into today's action soon. There you see the 10th tee, and now once again the aerial view and the lovely villas besides the golf course. We are in the heart of Karnataka, not too far from Bengaluru, just a 2-hour drive from the mega city. And here's a look at the leaderboard. Shaurya Bhattacharya maintaining his place at the top. He's 10 under now through 6 holes. He's got a 5-shot lead. Behind him, Kshitij Naveed Kaul and Udayan Mane tied second at 5 under. Kshitij has played 7 holes while Udayan has played 6 holes so far. And then you have the local lad Subhash Tamang, who plays here at Zion Hills Golf County, even though he hails from Nepal, 4 under through 7 holes. And Hani Basoya also tied 4th with Subhash at 4 under through 6 holes. Tapendra Ghai is next, one under through 7 holes. He's sixth. Dhruv Shoran is placed seventh at par through 9 holes, and N. Thangaraja, Arjun Prasad, and Manoj S. tied eighth at 1 over. That's the story from the Kolar Open so far. And we are joining action here with Abhinav Lohan. There you see Dhruv Shoran on your screen. This is the group that teed off at 8:25, match number 6. Dhruv at even par for now. He's played 9 holes. He's made 3 birdies and 2 bogeys. And he's found some trouble there, looking for his ball in the rough, almost slipping there. We are waiting to see whether that's Dhruv's ball or Abhinav's that landed there. We are bringing you live pictures from round 4, the final round of the Kolar Open, a new venue for the PGTI. We've played at new venues for 2 consecutive weeks now, following our event at Greens last week, and now here at Zion Hills Golf County, which has a new back nine recently unveiled. And left-handed Kartik Sharma on your screen now, teeing off on the 10th, ready to tee off, going through his pre-shot routine. And that's his standard pre-shot routine, his signature move there, trying to gauge the direction, the shape, the wind, blustery conditions out there, over 30 kilometers per hour, the wind speed, making life tough for all the professionals. And there goes Kartik Sharma, yet to win his first event. He's found the fairway, rolling to one side of the fairway. Now we have Manu Gandas on the tee, another player from the DLF Golf and Country Club Gurugram, an 8-time winner on the PGTI, a former Order of Merit champion. Let's see what Manu can come up with here. He has the envious record of having won 6 titles in a single PGTI season back in 2022 when he won the Order of Merit. And we get the ball follow there. You see grey skies, not easy to play in these conditions. And Manu is just about off the fairway. We have teenager rookie Manoj S. teeing off next, playing his debut season on the PGTI. He's had some impressive finishes earlier this year. His total stands at 1 over at the moment. This is the 16th event of the 2025 PGTI season. And there goes Manoj. You see the ball follow. I'm afraid he's gone a little to the left. Doesn't seem to be too happy with his tee shot. Is he going to hit a provisional? What was he indicating there to his caddy? And you can see the windy conditions prevalent right now at the Zion Hills Golf County. Yes, he will hit a provisional ball, as I had suspected. It rained yesterday and day before, so the course has also witnessed rain not making life easy for the golfers, along with the blustery conditions, the strong winds. He's Manoj seems to have found trouble yet again. We move on to Arjun Prasad's group. You see him there on the green. Arjun has had a super consistent year, many top 10 finishes, and a couple of runner up finishes as well for him. He is currently second on the PGTI order of merit. So, Abhinav Lohan about to play his chip. We don't seem to have followed the ball there. Oh, he's just off the green, as we can see the ball at the bottom of the frame. We'll now be going live to our two commentators in the studio. But just before that, have a look at Dhruv Sharan doing the cameo Vijegas, reading his putt. I now toss to the two commentators in the studio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the final round of the Kolar Open powered by Zion Hills. We are here at Kolar at the Zion Hills Golf County with the leader Shaurya Bhattacharya currently leading the way at 9 under par, 4 shots ahead of Kshitij Naved Kaul. The players are just about reaching now on the 8th hole on this final day. The winds are blowing at about 30 miles per hour. It is going to be an extremely interesting day as we can see a lot of movers and shakers happening here on the golf course right now. As we take a look at Arjun Prasad, I'm joined here alongside my co-host Shivas Nath. I'm Rahul Bajaj from the ABP studios here in Noida, taking a look at these winds and wishing that we were there and hopefully be able to control the golf ball as good as these professionals can. Shivas, what do you think is the day looking like this morning?
Well, a very good morning to our viewers. And, well, it's looking like it's going to be a very tough day out there today because we've had information come in, as you stated, that the winds are blowing. And, well, the greens seem to have also firmed up a bit, although they are still stimping at about 10.4, 10.3. But as we can also see from the scores that have come in from the leaders, they're all hovering around par or thereabouts. You have Shaurya, who's at 9 under, and in pursuit in second place is actually Kshitij, who's actually 2 under for the day and at 4 under. But Udayan's had a couple of hiccups. Last 3 holes, he's dropped 4 shots. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a tough scoring day. We can see the flag on the screen, and it is blowing out there.
It definitely is. As we take a look at Manu Gandas, we just saw a little fist pump there from Dhruv Sharan on the 10th hole. He is currently at even par for the tournament and 1 under par for the day. He is also trying to make some moves on that leaderboard after a blemished up 4 over par yesterday. He's looking for a good enough under par round to be able to finish within the top 5 for this week.
And of course, here we are at the 10th hole. Par 5, it's narrow fairway, the breeze is blowing. There have been some lots of doubles and triples today, not necessarily on this hole, Rahul, but right across the scorecards that we have, of course, in front of us on the website.
Absolutely.
It's hard. It's tough. Look at that shirt.
It definitely is. This is the group of Kartik Sharma, Manu Gandas, and Manoj S, who are just about coming up now on the 10th hole. There's Kartik Sharma,
Some
left-handed
sort of a
golfer.
visualization routine, kind of
Yes, Kartik.
gesticulating his ball flight.
Kartik has a very peculiar way of lining up to his shots, kind of quite time consuming as well. I'm pretty sure he is one of the favorites for the referees out there. Just a good swing there for Kartik Sharma.
I agree with you, Rahul. He does take a fair amount of time when he's over the golf ball, and his entire routine and process is quite deliberate and does take up a bit of time. But the good thing is that once he's on the ball, he commits and he fires. He doesn't really freeze over the ball.
Well, the thing with the golf of today is that you've got to be quick enough to play. I mean, ready golf is nearly a real thing now. You do want to play even club golf as ready golf, even though it hasn't quite seeped into our culture yet. On professional tours, I can promise you that you don't get more than 30 seconds to hit a golf shot. So either you're ready or you're not. There's no third thing that can happen. Manoj is coming up from the right side of the fairway here. Manoj is coming up just on the right side of the green here on the 10th hole. 10th hole here at the Zion Hills Golf County is a par 5 spanning over 565 yards and bears a stroke index of 4. A pretty tough hole with that little water body on the left side. Looks pretty on the camera and not quite daunting when you're out there.
Yeah, you couldn't be more correct. It's always very pretty when you see these features on camera, but when you're actually facing them, when you're standing there, it can be quite daunting, particularly with the wind. And of course, for most golfers across the world, especially at professional level as well, the wind is the most variable and fearsome factor. Everything else they can control, the yardages, their start points, swing they make, but the wind dying up, getting up, stalling mid swing can give people fits.
Absolutely. Kolar Open is the 16th event on the PGTI's 2025 season. This is the 49th venue for the PGT of India here in India and the 53rd venue being played at overall. This is the first time that the Zion Hills County is hosting a full professional golf event for the men. And also, incidentally, happens to be just about a month ago or maybe 2 months ago where they finished the back nine of this course. So for the longest time, they had only 9 holes for their course, and now they've just recently added the rest of the 9. Manu Gandas backing away from that ball with the gusty winds that he can feel. Manu seems to be going with somewhat like a mid-iron here on the 10th. The wind, as you can tell, is quite something.
No, and what a great course this is, Rahul. The back nine, as you mentioned, is recently completed and ready for play at the highest level. Having a conversation with our PGTI CEO Amandeep Johal as well this morning, and he's there, of course, and he's just so impressed with the layout and the course conditions and the hospitality being lent as well from the team at Zion Hills to the PGTI. So this is certainly becoming a good test, a strong golf course. And,
Absolutely.
And of course, the wind factor gets a lot more magnified because of the fact that being a young course, the trees are not that tall and still very tiny.
In fact, it's the wind as well as the rain that came up on the second day's afternoon that has sort of changed the complete dynamics of the golf course. And as you can tell there from the aerial view, that is the driving range of the Zion Hills. That is an academy that runs there under that canopy, and of course you can see all the villas, which are made alongside the fairways here at the Zion Hill and that lovely water body there, as we spoke yesterday as well. That water body actually happens to be a natural water body and has been thereafter enhanced in a man-made fashion to sort of fit into the dynamics of the golf course. As we take a quick look here at the leaderboard, where Bhattacharya leads at 9 under par, 5 shots ahead of Kshitij Naved Kaul and Udayan Mane. Nepal Subhash Tamang lurks around at 3 under par with Hani Besoya joining him alongside at the same score. Tapendra Ghai is the last player in the top 10 who is at an under par figure.
It's going to be a very active leaderboard. As we were discussing before we went on air, there will be a lot of movement. The wind conditions are not going to make life easy, and particularly the back nine is definitely the tougher nine on this course. Slightly firmer greens and narrower corridors on the fairways.
Well, quite the opposite of what a commentator's day looks like, isn't it? Not active at all. just sitting and watching that show go on, and while we soak it all in, I think the conditions on the golf course this week, as I also spoke with some of the players, they said that the greens are superb here at Zion Hills, and once you hear those words, you're like, oh my god, I wish I was out there. And especially with the weather conditions, even though it's windy, the weather is very pleasant in that area. As we take a look at the lefty, Kartik Sharma, coming up from the bunker, which is nearly about 20 yards right of the green. It's a pretty solid shot there by Kartik. Long bunker shots are not the easiest to hit through. Uh, he hasn't done a very bad job out of that.
No, he's really done hit a good shot. He's used the contours well. Got it also onto the upper shelf, which is very good in terms of having the opportunity to make putts, particularly on large greens with a lot of movement.
As I hear that the greens over here at Zion Hills are very large, and as I can tell, this 10th hole green actually is not very deep in terms of its length coming in from the fairway side, but coming in from where Manoj S is chipping up from right now, it's a pretty long green. The pin today here is perched up at about 15 yards from the front and 17 from the left, which leaves you pretty centered out. Manoj S trying to jizz up enough amount of spin on that ball, but unfortunately a lack of campa seems like on that shot, and you'll still have about 10 feet to go.
I did tend to get away a bit. A lot of people also, I believe, wouldn't really understand the factor that the wind plays when you're actually making pitches from about 30, 40 yards. When it's downwind or into the wind, it significantly impacts the spin rate on the ball when it actually hits the green.
Absolutely, Shivas. And in fact, where the pin is perched up, one can tell that there is a little uphill before the pin, and then it sort of gets into a little bit of a downhill area. So controlling the spin, dropping it on that downhill patch is not going to be the easiest of all. And mind you, these players are some of the best players in the country, and they definitely know what they're doing. So I'm assuming that there are reasons why he actually used a very lofted club trying to spin it up over there, probably because the ridge is quite high.
It is a steep one, yes. It is.
So we take a look at Manu Gandas. That should give us a far better idea as to what this shot looks like. And let's see if Manu can do better than Manoj. Eminem.
Eminem. Going to school? How good a student is he? Let's find out.
Manu Gandas, former number one here on the PGTI, now plays mostly on the DP World Tour.
And that said, it's good to see him here, and clearly we're going to see a lot of our boys also at the DP World event at Delhi Golf Club in October later this year. And it's going to be great to have a first-hand look at how the likes of Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood.
Not quite a different result, though, for Manu. In fact, he's still got about 10 feet left for his birdie attempt here on the 10th hole. Although he employed a completely different type of a shot than Manoj. He actually went, pretty much by the road, pitched it up and bump and run kind of route.
Yeah.
While Manoj is kind of like more of an aerial kind of fellow, likes to fly around a bit.
I wonder whether you caught it that while Manu's ball was actually in motion, Karthik, without of course impeding the line of the ball that Manu had chipped, had already moved into position. We were talking about ready golf, placed it, and started his work on lining up. But I think, as you rightly said, he does take his time, and he needs to be very, very ready to start his process because that's a long and tedious one.
Absolutely. A quick mention to our tour partners here at the PGT of India, the IndusInd Bank Campa Victorious Choice, which goes by the tagline, the joy of earning. And here at the PGTI, it's the joy of golfing. And Amrutanjan Electro plus Amul as well as Rolex. So we take a look back at the action on the course. Kartik Sharma looks like he's getting a little quicker than what he used to be, Shivas.
Well, we need to get the panoramic lens on from our camera team to see if the referees are around. but speaking about our tour sponsors, I think Victoria's Choice has been a tremendous addition as a tour partner because it's not just the joy of earning; it's also the joy of giving an excellent food in the player lounges at every event. They've done a fabulous job.
100% a good attempt there by Kartik Sharma. Unfortunately, that didn't find the bottom of the cup. Should be a little tap in for him.
And we've also had new additions this year with Amul and Kampa. So, a big shout out to them as well for, supporting Indian golf. And aside from, of course, our other tour partners, we mentioned Rolex, Indus and Electro Amrutanjan. I must confess, I was very happy to see and quite excited to see Campa back in the mainstream. And I, the first time I saw one of those Campa Wizzy coolers, I made sure I took tiny cans and tried pretty much all of them.
Shivers,
Overexcited little boy.
I would, I resonate with that sentiment. Although I do need the glass bottles. A lovely putt there by Manoj S, finding the bottom of the cup there. Birdie for Manoj here on hole number 10. That should take Manoj down to even par for the tournament. Dhruv Shoran has made his way up to one under par for the tournament and currently at a tie for fifth position. Unfortunately, the wheels seem to be coming off Udayan Mane's campaign. As we saw even yesterday, he struggled on these holes, going dropping shots since the fifth hole began, pretty much currently at 3 under par. Shaurya Bhattacharya leads at 8 under with his own drop shots on 7th and 8th. It's interesting today to see this 8th hole, which is a par 4 here at the Zion Hills, is of 450 yards, stroke index of 5.
Well,
And as I can see it, there's
in the
not
first
a single birdie
in the
here on the.
top 10 players, the three double bogeys.
Absolutely,
There's
there's
two
no.
pars, and the rest are bogeys.
It just gives you a sense of how tough the golf course must be playing, and especially this particular hole. There has been zero birdies on it today, so pretty much, this par four is perhaps playing somewhere around a 5 as an index of the score today. We take a look at Kshitij Naved call, the peculiar kind of a golf swing that he has. Kshitij has been a winner on the tour multiple times.
He's a terrific, strong young boy, always very happy, very courteous.
I must say, the tiny little fairway kind of goes with what I had heard. And did he just use a putter to put that ball in a fairway that size?
I can assure you, I would find that fairway with a putter for sure. But it's a good drive. I mean,
I mean, I
he
think I
stared
would
it
find
down.
it with a hand if I threw the ball.
And there's some contours on that fairway as well. So really, contours also play a strong role in giving it direction. Well, there was a gorgeous little trophy behind the tee, and well, by so I was thinking of there. You see it at the left side. It's an absolute beauty, isn't it?
This inaugural trophy of the Kolar Open, I wish I could just get my hands on it.
I must say, I have a strong bias towards the classic style trophies, which look exactly like this, rather than the very funky modern art ones. Of course, they both look lovely, but I have a very strong bias towards the classic style.
Can't blame you, Shivas. You're a classic kind of guy.
Well, I was going to say an old boy there. You had my heartbeat stopping there, Rahul.
Subhash Tamang now coming up on the 10th hole. He seems to be going with the fairway wood option off the tee box. It's like all the downwind that you have on this hole. Subhash says that this club is enough for me. I don't need a driver.
Yeah, he's pleased. A little fist bump. And this is pretty much the home course for Subhash in India. This is where he trains with his coach Tarun Sardesai, and this is where he plays most of his practice golf. Super Tracker is really a tremendous addition to our telecast, looking at very, very good
What a stunning view there of the Super Tracker by the PGTI. So, take a look back now at the 11th hole. Kartik Sharma's group has reached now onto the 11th hole. 11th here is a par 4 of 365 yards. Playing today to left to right downwind as it seems, mostly cross.
Now I'm now going to invite our colleague Rakesh Rao to join us in the commentary box. Welcome, Rakesh, and you take it away from here while I go and get myself a nice takeaway coffee.
That's Manu Gandas off the tee here on the 11th hole. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Rakesh Rao. Mr. Rakesh Rao happens to be one of the most eminent sports journalists that India has seen. I'm truly honored to be sitting beside him in this commentary box today.
A very, very good morning to everybody here and those watching. And Rahul, thanks a lot for those kind words. It's absolutely a joy to watch golf and to be able to take the viewers along with us and to share whatever that we can from this point. And also, this particular event this week has been quite a different one as compared to the ones that we've seen, say, for the last 3 weeks. And the kind of challenge that the golfers are up against this week. I mean, we all thought that the golf course, the design of it all, that all looks good. That's all fine, but the conditions are the ones that has actually made the difference. The wind is up, so that really tests the skill and the and also the course management, the golf club selection. Everything comes into play here.
Absolutely, as we can tell by the scores, and players are struggling out there. The conditions have definitely been extremely tough. You can tell from the winds that you see on your screen right now. It has definitely been a tough week for the players, but also I think the better players usually tend to revel in these kind of conditions. The course is new, so it's a new challenge for them. There's no one has ever played this golf course, from the professional tour. Each of them is now seeing this for the first time, so that's one kind of freshness that one gets. Course happens to be in extremely good shape and has been designed superbly, as has been told to me by some of the players. So that brings out the best from them. And then to top it all, you've got conditions. The conditions on the course, the bent grass on the greens. The greens are spinning well. The greens are in good speed. They're playing to about 10.5 or 10.6 today. And we've got the rough, which is up. So making up a completely good challenge.
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस। जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन। इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं।
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस, थकान वाली प्यास के लिए।
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है। मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद।
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
The Nepalese golfer in the field coming up from the fairway on this par 5. Subhash Tamang, who comes from humble beginnings, has actually trained at an academy which is placed here at the Zion Hills Golf County and has truly made an athlete of himself, someone who is now really looked up to by all the kids and a lot of golfers in Nepal. And as well as over here, Subhash Tamang has quite become the name. Tapender Ghai. Tapender won a tournament here at the Kutub Golf Course quite recently in Delhi. In the background, as you can see, the lady caddies. This happens to be one of the features here at the Zion Hills Golf County, and goes really with the empowerment of women and the creation of employment by the sport. And I think that's really heartening to see And Tapender Guy finding the putting surface on the right side should have a putt for eagle. And the caddy approves as well. Now I have Kshitij Naved call. Kshitij is a big striker of the golf ball, can hit it quite a mile. We've had a bunch of drop shots from him on 7th, 8th, and 9th, so I'm pretty sure Kshitij is probably looking forward to getting one back here. Par fives are a place where golfers they are trying to get their scores back. They are trying to get their underpars from there, and that's pretty much what he's trying to do right now. Kshitij, Tapendra, and Subhash Tamang today make the penultimate group for this final round, this exciting final round. Prize purse this week is of 1 crore rupees for this inaugural Kolar Open. Kolar happens to be a town where gold mines were to be found back in the day. Mr. Rao, I think you could help us delve a bit deeper into that, owing to your experience of having spent some time over there. I haven't really spent more than half a day at Zion Hills, but Mr. Rao, you seem to have spent a bit more, and I think you could help us educate our spectators as to what are they really looking at. Kshitij Naved Kaul coming out with a miscue there off to the right side.
Kshitij also happens to be the one who has who has found birdies on the both par five so far on the front nine. So this is his third one. He's looking to make a hat trick of birdies on these birdie holes on the course. And of course, he's the one who had a great start. He had a hat trick of birdies to start with on the first, second, and third holes. Added another one on the sixth, but thereafter, a hat trick of bogeys has somehow spoilt his card a bit. But he still holds the second spot.
That's our first look at the leader, Shaurya Bhattacharya, coming up on the 10th hole. All eyes on that trophy for Shaurya, currently at 8 under par for the tournament. Teeing off with a driver here on the 10th. He's all clued in. That's a solid shot there for Bhattacharya. Finding the fairway, that little fairway over there, I swear I'm sitting here in the commentary box and I'm having the EBGBs looking at the size there. It looks like about a 10-yard wide fairway. Udyan Mane probably getting in his protein bar at the turn. Udyan is electing to go with a fairway wood on this hole. Udyan has been an Olympian and has struggled to find form for the past 2 to 3 years, but is now back in shape. And Udyan Mane just finished runner-up just last week to Yuvraj Singh Sandhu and lost in a 5-hole playoff to him. What a tournament that was last week at Clover. Let's take a look at Udyan's golf swing. Big unit that Udyan is, packs up a lot of power behind that golf ball. Udyan is played towards the left side of the fairway. Unlike the players who are going with the driver, they are going more towards the right side, giving themselves a shorter approach shot. Hani Besoya. Besoya is pulling off the look of the shots. The addition to professional golf that happened fairly recently. He's also one player who packs a big punch behind the golf ball. Not quite having the day he would have liked to. Hani Besoya currently turning at 2 over par through the front nine, but with that one-handed shot also has managed to find that tiny little fairway. And I must say, please do not try this when you're playing your round. Don't try to leave the club and think that you're going to hit 330 yards like Hani Besoya, because you ain't no Hani Besoya.
Yeah, a word about this hole. This is a par 5, 565 yards, and it's a dogleg right. Now, what it actually the challenge here is it poses a very difficult tee shot for the simple reason that it has bunkers and fairways on both sides of the fairway, and also the green is designed. Of course, it's a large bunker, which is of course like guarding the front with the left side bordering on a hazard, and the flag is say if it's on the left side of the green, that makes it very difficult, very difficult. So players have to really plan their approach here, and that is what makes it so difficult. Now there's a third shot, and he finds himself in the bunker there, and let's see what he does with it.
We can see Subhash's coach Tarun Sardesai standing there in the background in the golf cart. Unfortunately, that seems to be a bit of a probably a thin shot from that long approach, and that can be a really tough shot to come up with. He's found the putting surface though, so he should be fine. I'm pretty sure from where he is, he couldn't see where the ball has stopped. He probably has his heart beating fast right now, wondering if it's gone into the hazard, but no, it's all safe. That in the golf cart there is Tarun Sardesai. Shout out to him. As we take a look at Kshitij Naved call coming up from the same bunker. Mind you, fairway bunker shots which are from a long range away. This seems like a greenside bunker, but actually is not. That's a brilliant shot by Kshitij Naved call. These shots are really tough, about 40 yards away from the flagstick with wind right into your face. Brilliant shot. That's the best one we've seen so far on this hole.
Naved has had a very eventful round so far, we must say. His front nine, if you see, hat trick of birdies, hat trick of bogeys, and in between he has had a birdie to show. So still one under for the day.
A colorful kind of guy.
Yep. Just two pars on the front nine.
Subhash Tamang now has nearly 40 feet left for a birdie attempt. Pretty much not what he hoped for, especially standing with a short club going into this par 5. Both players, in fact, coming up from that fairway, as you can tell, that's it can be quite daunting with that hazard on the left side. You can't quite start the ball way left, owing to the wind. And you have a bailout area on the right side, but not quite easy to make an up and down from there. So it's like a conundrum that players go through when they're standing over there. If you try to fight the wind, the ball's going to go really short, so you can't really do that as well. So it's all a it's all a situation of a catch-22 pretty much when you're playing a flagstick, which is towards the left side of the green. As we take a look at Tapinder Ghai, who definitely has given himself the best opportunity here to make an eagle. And Tapinder get that ball on the bottom of the cup, and that's a lovely attempt there for Tapinder, leaving himself just a little tap in for birdie. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pure etiquette showcased there by Tappy Guy. So, for those of you who would not be very well adept with golfing etiquettes, that is one of the things that players really respect each other. It's the idea is to respect each other's play and each other's line, and as a mark of etiquette, you sort of point out as to, if this is your line, I will not step on it, and that basically comes from the age-old habits that were brought about because of the metal spikes that used to be in place, and metal spikes would actually leave indentations on the green while players walked, and they would leave spike marks, so to speak. So players follow it as a mark of etiquette and respect for each other. Thank God for the white shirt on Tamang. You could barely see his lower body merging up, camouflaging against the green on the course.
Matching shades too. I mean, it's just that.
It's the 10th hole. When the players go from the 9th to the 10th, that's where all the Amul protein shakes and the lassis and everything sort of comes into play, right? Because when you're making the turn is when you're thinking, oh yes, I've gone through half day, now I need more energy. Subhash Tamang it's really pumped that one by. It seems like a bit too much protein in that through the turn.
Subhash seems to be, misreading the speed quite a bit here because this being his home course, one expects him to read the lines better, get the pace right. But somehow, on this particular hole, we've seen him go up and down, and he's still some distance away from the flag.
Kshitij Naved, just of 24 years of age, coming in from Delhi, using one of those zero torque putters. And I mean, Mr. Rao, I mean, I understand what you just said, but that's the thing with expectations, isn't it?
Of
Yeah,
course.
they say you should never have them.
Yeah, but then you become a victim of your own expectations and the expectations that you build, not consciously. But then the moment you say that it's a new course, and obviously the person who's been there, and that's a very neat looking putt there.
It's probably the best up and down we've seen today on this hole number 10. Take a quick look, a replay of Kshitij's putt, draining it right in the middle of the cup. No trouble there, and a lovely up and down for Kshitij Naved call here on the 10th hole. We've seen a couple of balls land up in that fairway bunker today, and he's the first one who's actually made that up and down. We take a look at Subhash Tamang. Tamang putting for par, nearly 12 feet past the hole with his first putt. See, I told you, you couldn't have told him from the course if he didn't have a white shirt on. It's an unfortunate miss for Subhash Tamang. 3-jack bogey there. Should drop him down now to 2 under par for the tournament. So we take a look now. Our leader group comes up onto the 10th hole. Now, leader group today, we have Shaurya Bhattacharya who leads the way, playing alongside Udayan Mane and Hani Besoya. Udayan comes from Pune, and Hani Besoya from Delhi, as well as Shaurya Bhattacharya from Delhi itself, going in with what looks like a mid-iron for Shaurya. Shaurya leaving himself, getting him 2 on, has a good look at Eagle now. He's also coming up from the right side of the center of the green, which leaves him that big slope to navigate through, but should give him a good look at Eagle, just like it did for Tapendra Ghai just a few moments ago.
Shaurya, who has, like yesterday and the day before, these 2 days, he visited this particular hole and left that hole with birdies. So he'll be looking for a hat trick of birdies here.
Well, as a coach, I can tell you he wouldn't be quite happy that he left a birdie there on hole number 10 on day 1.
Absolutely, because everybody is looking to just capitalize on all these like birdie holes there. And if you look at his consistency, anybody missing a birdie on the second hole, which is a par 5 here, I think they all rue that, because that is one of the 4 birdie holes on this particular course, which has given the golfers just what they want.
And that's probably the closest we've seen someone come to this whole location here. Hani Besoya really showcasing his own authority by attacking that pin. He's gone slightly over the green, but he should still have a good chip in chance for an eagle. It's not too far away from the hole. I don't think there is any player in the field this week who has been left out from making big numbers. Even in the top 5, there are players who've made double bogeys and triple bogeys, and you name it. The struggle is pretty much real around here. Subhash Tamang now on the 11th hole, coming up after that bogey. Subhash on this par 4, 365-yard par 4, stroke index of 18. So not the toughest of holes. Will Subhash get a shot back over here? We wait to see. Current look at the leaderboard. Shaurya Bhattacharya leads the way at 8 under par, 5 shots ahead of Kshitij Navedkol, Subhash Tamang, and Udayan Mane. Subhash Tamang, in fact, is down to 2 under par, is not at 3 under par anymore. So he is, the latest is that Kshitij Naved is at 4 under, Udayan Mane, Dhruv Shoran, and Subhash Tamang follows suit along with Tapinder Ghai.
Shaurya started the day with a 3-shot cushion and now he's 5 ahead of the closest challenger. And that also means that he has maintained his par, but what has actually happened is that his nearest contender at the start of the day was Udayan Mane, who has dropped 2 shots today to move further down. So a 5-shot cushion at the halfway stage looks absolutely desirable for anyone on this course, because had it been any other course, things could be a little more different. But here, this is some kind of a luxury that a player has, and no question about anyone winning here. And of course, at this point in time, Shaurya looks the best bet. He'll have a story for his grandchildren.
Well, that's for his grandchildren. I think that's quite far off, Mr. Rao. I think even his own kids are quite far off as of today. But he's all of 22 years of age.
Yeah, I understand, but this is something which he's going to remember for a long, long time.
Like
That's
future
what
planning
is
to the
meant
next
to say.
level.
Absolutely, Rahul. Because this is one victory which he's not going to forget in a hurry, and I wish that he wins a lot more. But this week, a victory here will definitely be top drawer stuff.
Most certainly. 12th hole here is where Manu Gandas and Kartik Sharma are playing. This is a 405-yard par 4. A lot of players end up missing it towards the right side, where you've got these sapling covers where the players have to hit over that. And Manu Gandas, not quite sure where his golf ball has landed up. Manu and Kartik both just came in from the same angle. Manu Gandas currently is at 1 over par for the day and 1 over par for the tournament. And Kartik Sharma is at 4 over par for the day with quite a colourful front nine. We take a look now at Udayan Mane. Udayan coming out from short of the green here on hole number 10. Udayan's going with a little bit of a pitch. A pretty good shot here for Udayan Mane, although it's gone spinning off slightly towards the right, like a cut spin shot. Also, the wind coming in from the left, throwing the ball that way, and wasn't quite able to keep that sticking up to the flag, but shouldn't be too bad. About 18 feet away for a birdie. We've got Hani Besoya here, who's going to be chipping it from the back of the green, trying to make an eagle, and Shaurya Bhattacharya coming in from the right side of that little slope. That's quite a big swing that Honey is making over there. It doesn't seem like that's as long a shot as the swing that he's taking. Shaurya is sizing up that putt from the middle of the green, trying to understand how that ball's going to roll once it hits that slope, because that's where the ball's direction is really going to change and the speed will change. From an uphill, the ball starts moving into a downhill, and that's where the change will happen. He's trying to understand what control he needs to build into it. We just saw Tappy Guy coming in from a similar angle earlier and came up about a foot short of the hole for eagle and made a birdie. Let's see if Shaurya can take his lead further forward. If he makes this putt, this would also be the first eagle of the day today on hole number 10. It's like a pretty good putt. Does he have the legs? Does it have the legs? And no, it doesn't. Leaves himself quite short of the hole. I think that's a good 6 or 8 feet short of the hole. for birdie. So Shaurya would have his work cut out now as we wait with bated breath for what Honey Besoya is going to make out of that chip. Honey's ball, as you can see, is nestled down a little bit. He's got an open club face over there with his wedge. Oh, that's the reason he needed a big swing, and what a lovely shot there. Quite aggressive play there for Honey Besoya, and he's done a tremendous job out of it, trying to be Michael Jordan and sort of slam dunk it into the hole and spins it pretty just about 3 feet.
That was a lovely looking play by Honey. The way he, I mean, I think it planned it really like the way you said. He wanted to just dunk it straight into the cup. Um, Very well measured shot.
Talking about measured shots, that is Udayan Mane, the man who knows how to measure those putts. They are now coming up from about 18 feet away for birdie. He hit a pitch from about 70, 80 yards short of the green and tried to hold it into that wind, but it's quite hard. That wind is really throwing that ball from the left to the right and hitting it with a wedge. That throw is even harder. We take a look at what he's going to do. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a counterbalanced putter. Usually spans over 37 or 38 inches. Most of us would be holding it midway. Udayan Mane doesn't even need to do that, but he's being modest enough to do that. Ball should break a little bit from the left to the right, owing to the slope. Unfortunately, that would veer off towards the right side. It didn't have quite the legs that it would have needed. Usually pretty good at these left to right putts, Udayan is. We saw yesterday, if he had a left to right putt, it was pretty much at the bottom of the cup and nowhere else. Now leader Shaurya Bhattacharya now from about 6 feet away for birdie. This is one of those tester putts that a player faces. Trying to keep that lead and trying to move that lead even further, especially on a golf course like this, because of the conditions that you have. You do not want to lose out on any opportunity that you have to collect shots on the course, because you don't know when the fangs would really open up. Shaurya nearly at about 6 or 7 feet, putting for birdie. Unfortunately, that'll be a 3-jack putt for Shaurya Bhattacharya. Will stay at 8 under par and 4 shots ahead of Kshitij Navedkar. Honey Besoya trying to see if he can catch a shot and move himself to 2 under par. Honey putting from about 3 feet away. What a brilliant, flop shot that he hit from back of the green. Oh my goodness gracious. Is that a pull or is that a misread? I think it's more of a pull. He kind of yanked that putt way before it came off. As we move now into all of the action, it's all heating up here at the Kolar Open, powered by Zion Hills Golf County. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the 1 crore prize money tournament. This is the inaugural Kolar Open taking place at the town called Kolar, just outside of Bangalore. And knocks that one in. Honey Besoya also will go with a 5 into the 11th. So none of the players from the leader group making a birdie on the very approachable par 5, hole number 10, as I now welcome my co-commentator Shivas Nath back into the commentary booth.
That's a lovely looking attempt, far from the pin, and of course, this particular view it gives you an idea of how large the greens are, and surrounded by these huge bunkers. So the challenge is to stay with your approach, and you have to ensure that your approach shot it doesn't like let you down. Otherwise, you'll have plenty of work to do, and that's what this the 11th hole again. This is quite a challenge for those who haven't played here often. And as we are aware that this particular week, most of these guys are visiting this place for the first time. Of course, this being the first professional tournament here. So there is Subhash. They're just off the green. Subhash has had a very eventful week, using all his experience of playing on this course. One of the very few pros who've had this advantage of knowing the course. Day one, first half, he had a little difficult time, but then thereafter, of course, he got his groove. He just got into it, and thereafter, he's been there up in the mix. But of course, a little bit of inconsistency which we see, which has actually surprised me. Uh, then I don't think he's been in a situation like this before, where he is almost in contention for a very strong finish. Though Shaurya is looking comfortably perched at the top, but Subhash, Kshitij, and Udyan, these three have been there about trading spots with every passing hole, but they're not quite getting closer to the leader.
Well, thank you, Rahul, and thank you, Rakesh, for having me back in the commentary box. So things have been getting very, very hot and volatile here, to say the least. There's a lot of movement. The course conditions certainly pretty tough, certainly not benign, and it's as an aside, it's nice to see the lady caddies on screen. Wearing the tournament players' bibs and caddy bibs, and it's really a terrific initiative that the folks at Zion Hills have implemented. That's a great part by Tapi Ghai. Tappy, tappy, tappy. Well done. This 11th hole, of course, a very, very solid hole. The second hole, of course, on the back nine, and that's a fairly tough stretch traditionally, as we've come to know on the few months that the back nine has been open. The 10th, 11th, and 12th, fairly narrow off the tee. Got to pick your tee ball very precisely, and the wind or the gusting wind not making things any easier. Of course, about an hour and a half, the winds were really blowing at about 30 miles an hour. And it seems to have dropped off a bit now, Rakesh. So hopefully that makes it a lot easier. Kshitij, in the meantime, leaving his putt short.
Yeah, and a word about this 11th hole. This plays to par four, about 365 yards. Of course, long hitters can go for the green straight away because the large bunker. There's a large bunker which guards the front, and also it can go out of bounds on either side of the fairway. So one has to be very, very careful. The green has, of course, a large contour in the middle, and it slopes to either side. So quite a bit of stuff that one has to, keep in mind whether you want to approach the green from the right or the left. And of course, as I said, there are, like hazards on both sides of the fairway.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for?
अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें एनर्जी लौटाएं थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस थकान वाली प्यास के लिए
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
I'm Shraddha Shinde and right now I have with me the Managing Director of Zion Hills Golf County, Mr. George. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Shraddha.
Sir, with that, this specific tournament, we could see that the scores are really high and from what I assume, it must be a really difficult course. So what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, it is a challenging course. It's a very configurable course. So it's a course that, if set up right, can be fairly entertaining to golfers of relatively high handicaps, but can be set up to be really challenging as well.
Okay.
The course was designed by somebody called Ronald Freem and George Philpott. Ron set the design philosophy of the course. So his philosophy is that a course should be entertaining to players of any levels. So depending upon where the pin position is set and which tee position you use, the course can be easy or very challenging. Right now it's been set up fairly challenging. The winds are adding to the difficulty. Speaking to the players, I think it has challenged everyone, but I think they're loving the course as well. So.
Absolutely, and I would say Ron has done an incredible job on the course.
Yeah, Ron's been absolutely brilliant. The other factor here is the course has a little bit of resemblance to European playing conditions.
Okay.
So the grass on the greens is a grass called the A4 bent grass, which is a cool season grass and found in the US and Europe more than in Asia. Plus the windy conditions, so it's playing a little bit more like European conditions than typical Indian conditions.
So I would say thank you so much for bringing this amazing golf course to us. Well, with that, sir, I also heard that there's a showpiece hole on the golf course. So could you tell us more about it?
So there are, I think there are a few really standout holes. The one which is, I think, attracting a lot of attention right now is the island hole that we have on hole 13. It's a par 4 rock-lined island hole. I call it the Fort Zion because the green is all surrounded by large rock boulders. It's the smallest green on the course. Otherwise, our greens are all massive, but that's the tightest green.
Okay.
So it's a short par 4, but it's a fairly interesting, challenging, and very scenic island green.
Incredible, sir. Sir, with that, any final advice that you would want to give out to the golfers, to all the players out there?
I'm a pretty poor golfer, and the people who are playing are all pros. So I don't know what advice I can give them. But there are some philosophies again of Ron's. Ron's philosophy is, this is a thinking course. And you respect the course will respect you back. There's a strong risk-reward trade-off. But if you are rash with the course, it can be a very punitive course. So think your shot, plan your shot through, and respect it, respect the conditions, and I think the course will reward you.
That's an incredible advice, sir, and thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thank you.
That have just tuned in now at the Kolar Open presented by Zion Hills. That was the owner, Mr. George, and what a wonderful vision and a job he has done with this particular track and the plans he has for the wonderful clubhouse that's coming up. Zion Hills is a 7,330-yard brutal track, and I add the word brutal because we've had 30 miles per hour winds earlier today, and as the scorecards reflect, there have been over 40 double bogeys or worse already, while the final round is only about 60-65% complete. And we've had all sorts of scores and double bogeys, triples, quads. We even had pentas. It's a mixed bag out there. The wind is blowing, and it's a true test of grit and ability for the players out here. On screen, of course, is our overnight leader and current leader, Shaurya Bhattacharya, who sits at 8 under, having built up a 4-shot lead over Kshitij Navikol and a 5-shot lead over Udayan Mane, Subhash Tamang, and Tapi Ghai.
Yeah, speaking about the dropped shots here, somebody like Shaurya had a horrid time on the par 4 8 on day 2, where on a par 4 he needed 9 shots. So you can imagine
Yeah,
what
that was a 5
nightmare
over
it
par
was.
right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
And we were speaking, of course, with our co-commentator Rahul Bajaj, and we didn't really put him on the spot by asking, what exactly transpired. But must have been a lot of chaos and possibly a couple of out of bounds on that hole, because it's making a penta is, these are really
It's
good
very
players.
unusual. Yeah,
But
true.
but can you just imagine? And of course, they say hindsight is 2020. But barring that penta, what sort of a lead you would have had on the rest of the field at this point?
And also before this round today, if you see his track record on the front nine, he just messed up par 8 twice.
The
I'm
eighth
sorry,
hole.
the eighth hole,
The
the
eighth
par
hole.
4 twice. Thereafter, he had a clean record. I mean, imagine he's played the front nine over 27 holes in 3 days. He didn't drop a single shot on any other hole, barring the eighth. And he had something like 8 birdies to show in those 3 days over 27 holes. But today, he has dropped 3 shots on the front nine, and he picked up shots on 3 other. So he had a mixed sort of bag.
Well, even today, on the front nine, holes 6, 7, 8 have been particularly brutal. When you go through these score sheets,
True.
notice that there are more bogeys, and all these 3 holes are
Yeah.
playing well above par versus the first 5, which have been fairly. There's been a good smattering of birdies and pars,
Yeah.
and I have largely been playing, I would say, under par to some extent. But 6, 7, and 8 have taken it all back.
Yeah, and like off the lot, the eighth hole, the par 4, that has been absolutely brutal, no question about it. Because barring Tapendra Ghai from the top 7 players, the other 6 players have at least dropped 1 shot there. Honey had a double there. So really, that one hole has got all those guys who were riding high after the first 5 holes for the day,
Brought them back to
brought
mother
them back
ground
to Mother
fairly
Earth.
quickly,
Yes,
I might add.
absolutely.
That was Honey by Soya on our screen, and we saw he just barely missed his putt. Honey playing alongside Udayan Mane and Shaurya Bhattacharya. And now we have Shaurya, of course, cleaning up for his par. Still about 4 feet, so not really a given. And particularly, with the breeze blowing, it does impact the line on some putts to some extent. Oh no, that's another bogey for Shaurya. And this is the time the young man has to steady his ship. He also had a 3-putt par earlier, of course, but that's because on the par 5 he had hit the green in 2. But this doesn't really augur well. He needs to stay calm, stay tight, stay in the moment, and consolidate his lead, not whittle away solitary shots.
Yeah, if you take a real close look, you'll realize that he has actually dropped a shot on the previous hole, because that was a birdie to be taken, if not an eagle. And there he got a par, and here he should have saved his par.
Well, for these young lads, par 5s in particular are definitely very birdieable. The length they hit it, and plus this course has a few of them playing heavily downwind today, much as you have them playing upwind on a lot of other par 4s. So it's par 5s in some cases have become a little bit easier playing downwind, particularly holes like the 10th and the 18th. And then, of course, you have some strong holes like the par threes, where you're actually hitting into the wind over water, which makes it incredibly difficult.
Very true.
So Shaurya, of course, now making his way to the 12th hole, the par four. And on screen we have a
So
little
it's yeah.
floating camper. Camper ki zid. In this breeze, this billboard of campers also being very ziddy. It's tossing and turning, moving around, but not really being taken away by the winds.
True to its name and the tagline.
Absolutely. Camper ki zid.
Very, very stubborn to say the least.
Well, that's what we'd like to see Shaurya in that mode today. Be stubborn, hold on to, and consolidate his lead.
There's Subhash trying to make amends for a few missed putts.
Oh
And
no,
there he goes again.
that is a costly miss. That is a costly miss. Subhash Tamang, of course, was sitting at 4 under, and that was a very important putt for him to stay in touch with the leader, Shaurya Bhattacharya. You know, a word on the greens. All the players have been waxing eloquent about the condition of the greens and the surface, way the greens are receiving the balls, the very consistent pace, green to green, front nine or back nine. The back nine, of course, as we know, have all nine brand new greens. So only the difference there being that the greens on the front nine are a little bit more receptive, having been played through for multiple seasons. And of course, the back nine, new greens will take a couple of seasons to settle down and soften up a bit. You know, I would add here that a lot of the players have been very fearful of the bunkers this week because the bunkers again have the texture has been changing consistently. Particularly the back nine, the bunkers have been very soft because they're new bunkers, and then once it's rained, it kind of changes the entire texture of the sand and the feel and the way they need to play it. So this course is really, Rakesh, been testing all facets of the players this week.
Yeah, and we've been, consistently underlining that fact that more than the course and the course design and the conditions have been such. It has rained a bit, it has been windy, it's been cloudy, overcast conditions, obviously. And in the midst of all that, the players have to not only, negotiate the entire challenge that is posed by the design of the course, the design of a particular hole, and more. It's the conditions which are making them think and think more.
You know, that said, you just mentioned design and conditions. Well, you know, the conditions, of course, are variable as we know, different times of the year, rain, sun, whatever have you. But the very design of this golf course, a classic by, the legendary Ronald Freem, it's a terrific track. The risk, the reward, the very intimidating water hazards, and I'm a huge fan of these rock formations because visually they're just gorgeous.
And just imagine the meticulous way in which it has been planned and executed, and it's picturesque. I mean, being there, it gives you a very different feel. And once you visit that place, you would like to return there in a hurry because it's so beautifully done. Everything looks so pristine. And moreover, we haven't spoken about the practice green there. That's, I think, one of a kind in this country, because what you have is you have a tree in the middle, and around that they have built a beautiful practice green, and that's lush.
So these
Very
features, of
nicely
course,
cut,
make them
yeah.
very, very unique. Uh, and right now on the visuals, of course, aside from the leaderboard, Shaurya has dropped to 7 under and now holds a 3-shot lead over Udayan and Kshitij. The visuals are stunning. The natural water bodies have been upgraded and lined. So you've not messed with the natural features the course has or the land has presented, but you've made it better, lining it so you can retain water, and that's also can environmentally a very, very conscious and responsible thing for the owners to have done.
Yeah, here I give a lot of credit to the course designer and George, because George has taken personal interest. Like unlike most of the owners, they'll just outsource this kind of stuff that they need. But here he has spent time on the course. He's spent a lot of time, and there you see Udian Mane, the only player to win two titles in his rookie season, and this was
It will be
something.
back in, I think, 2015 because he's been a professional now 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. And he has also been an Asian game. I mean, he has represented India in Asian games. He has been an Olympian, and of course, number four as we speak on the order of merit, likely to be second or third depending on how he finishes here, but is sure to improve upon that number. From four, I see him at the end of this tournament. He should be either second or third.
There you have it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Turn Pro 2015. Pune Club is his home course. He spends a lot of time there. Very popular. The genial and gentle giant. Unless you're up against him man oh man on the golf course. I would add that I've actually been in a situation with Udayan at the Bombay Presidency Golf Club, the club championship. It's called the gold medal. And I think he was a 14 or a 15-year-old boy then. And I was in my prime, in my mid-30s. And we both did well. It's a 36-hole tournament. We both did well on the first day. And I started the round a shot ahead of him in the lead, the final round. And after the sixth hole, I was 4 shots behind him. And I was still even par for the day. So that kind of tells you the mentality and the skill this young man had back then, 20 years ago. And of course, as I like to joke with him at that time, he was shorter than me in height and shorter than me off the tee. Clearly not the case anymore.
Yeah, of course, time makes a lot of difference, and here we see him. I think he's a big unit, no question about that, and yet so genial. Each time you speak to him, he's so respectful, so much on purpose.
And the other thing I must say, he's got a lot of time for younger golfers with whom he, parts wisdom, experience, and that sort of leadership skill and the ability to share and become a sort of a mentor. I think is a very likable and a rare skill, and I'm very happy he does that. I'm very proud of him.
Great to hear that because I've been very fortunate to meet sports persons from across fields, and that's one quality that I truly admire. How much time do you have for younger people or people coming to you for advice? Can you take some time off your schedule and be of help?
That's being said, Anirban Lahiri as well himself has made a lot of time for youngsters like Udayan, Chika, and the likes. And I like the fact that Udayan is sort of an unsaid, classy way of going around. Obviously, Udayan's a lot more accessible to a lot of younger players in India, unlike Anirban, who plays global golf. And it's just heartening to see Udayan pay it forward.
Exactly what you need in a country where golf is growing, and you need people who are there on the course. Then they are still playing, as pros, and they are making it count. They are not among the also ranks. They are among the top rung performing professionals, and they are there for the youngsters. So people who are amateurs or just in their rookie season as a pro, you should have people like Odean, the kind of go-to people, as they say, that you can actually sit down with them over a cup of coffee and discuss.
So we have our leader, Shaurya, hitting his second shot into the par 4 12th hole. The 12th is a 405-yard par 4. In all likelihood, he's wedging it in. We have vision of the pin flag. The 12th hole today, the pin is tucked at the back. It's 39 yards from the front. And of course, the flag, we're told, is in the center. That said, hitting high lofted wedges into these greens on a day as windy as this, just look at the trees and the grass at the back. It's absolutely blustering.
True.
So distance control and, managing the start point and particularly the flight as well on the wedges, I think is another special skill.
And once on the green, especially over here, say we were talking about the 12th. Now, of course, what we see is on the 13th fairway. The 12th hole has the slope that is, it slopes from front to the back, and it has bunkers on all sides. So once you're on the 12th, like we are going to see shortly, uh, you'll see a lot of golfers will have to, really, like line up their putt and really wait and ensure that they don't miss the line.
No, it's definitely a very interesting day with large greens, and as we were, alluding yesterday, the greens are large, but should you miss many of these greens, you're really in the deep stuff, and you have to be very skillful with the choice of shot or club you choose to get to. You see Tapi Ghai exactly, to try to talk to the ball. The probably ball is still moving. He's gesticulating. The players are we're gonna be having fits, and we're quite happy to finish the fourth round and leave Bangalore tonight.
And it's so heartening to see, guy talking to the lady caddy there, and getting all the inputs from her. He's trusting her judgment and then using his own wisdom. So a lot of it is happening, as we see repeatedly. Tappy guy, and he's in the mix. He's not, and he still has the hope. Now there you have him.
He's been a winner this season. He won the
Yeah.
Callans Open at Kutub.
Kutub, yeah.
And Kutub itself is a nice course, solid course, lovely greens and conditions. But yes, referencing back to the caddy portion that you mentioned,
Yeah.
most of the players on tour actually have their full-time caddies who travel with them, and have been on their backs for several years. And that also augurs well, because a lot of the caddies may have also previously caddied for other golfers on the tour. So they have a lot of experience in terms of how a course setup is, or the conditions on a course, just through their experience and history. And this time, we see Tapi's actually taken a local caddy,
Yeah.
and as you rightly said, trusting her, going along with her, and that itself is a wonderful element of our conversation today. Till several years ago, Augusta National, where of course the Masters is played, all visiting players had to take a local caddy. They were not permitted to bring their full-time
Personal,
caddies to Augusta National.
Yeah, interesting. But is it? I mean, on one hand, of course, it's like level playing field for everybody. But is it fair when you have this kind of a restriction on professionals?
That's a very interesting conversation, and I think you're very experienced in sports, and you've been a sports journalist as one of our most respected journalists for several years. The conversation's always been around in terms of golf ball, particularly in our sport of golf. Because when you talk tennis, or you talk badminton, or you talk squash, it's a tournament ball,
Yeah.
and it could be a very brand to brand, tournament to tournament, and the players actually use that.
Yeah.
But in golf, of course, you have your own ball, so it's not a consistent. That's a tremendous putt there from Udayan on the 12th hole, lagging it absolutely stone dead. But look at that. You see the breeze, the flag. I mean, he was literally putting from about 50, 55 feet uphill. So that's definitely a tremendous effort. And the other thing I want you to
there's,
notice, Rakesh, is the way he's turned his hat, his cap,
Yeah.
front to back.
That's true.
Because obviously the breeze is
Yeah,
making
that's a
the brim
headwind,
move.
Yeah, that's
and
true,
that's that just itself tells us how windy it is out there.
absolutely. And I think that's almost given. And there you have it. He completes it. And now at this point in time, I'd like to welcome back Rahul to take over.
Shivas, I am absolutely delighted to be back besides you in commentating. But thanks to all the internet that we have these days, the breeze actually is a gentle wind. My dear friend, that ain't a breeze.
A gentle wind.
Okay.
Well,
Mind you, these guys aren't making bogeys for a breeze.
That's unfair advantage. Was it AI or the Oxford Dictionary that you're holding up and waving in my face? A couple of really good putts on this 12th hole, and
Well, I'm back here, and I am not very pleased to see what's happening over here. It's getting tighter and tighter and
It
tighter, and believe you me, I'm having a few droplets of sweat on my forehead as I speak. We are here on the 12th now with pin position 40 inside and perched up in the center, but 40 inside is another 2 clubs extra.
Yeah,
and there
it's
we've
huge.
got Hani Besoya. It looks like he's himself standing on an uphill with a bit of an uphill task with a nearly 50-footer.
That's what we were talking about yesterday as well, Rahul. The greens are huge, so you can be in three-putt zone quite comfortably. And we've just seen Shaurya three-putt the last 2 holes. And if you kind of miss the green, the rough is up, it's juicy, it's lush, grabby, and it's really a test of skill into this gentle breeze.
You mean, oh, none of you want to be thrown into this gentle breeze, so to speak. A quick mention for the PGTI's tour partners: Victoria's Choice, IndusInd Bank, Amrutanjan Electro Plus, Rolex, as well as Amul, and also Campa. And mind you, no sporting event can take place without the support of great companies backing them, and Victoria's Choice is one of them. Is an entity inspired by the philosophy of Choice International Limited that has risen to becoming a unicorn in the financial sector with its unique and innovative approach of joy of earning. I could do a bit with that, Shivas, joy of earning and financial services and so on. Like, I mean, I might not have too much of money to invest in there, but the joy of earning sounds quite the thing. And even here on the PGTI, Victorious Endeavours Private Limited, a sports development company, is the one which is promoting this endeavor of theirs. It's looking forward to a holistic development of golf in India, and their objective is to take the joy of golfing to the next level. You see the point there,
Yes,
Shabazz.
I
The
do.
joy of earning, the joy of golfing. Professional golf kind of looks like
The
that.
joy of commentating. But Rahul, I must tell you, now that we're talking about Victoria's Choice, I've actually had the pleasure. They're a Mumbai-based company, and Mumbai, of course, is home for me. Lovely putt there by Baisoya, super safe for par, and the owners of the business and the ones that are actually running the business, they are so invested in sport. It's not just golf, but it's also other sports like badminton and triathletes and individual athletes that they are supporting through their CSR program. And I'm full of admiration for the gentleman at the head, Mr. Kamal Podarji, and then of course Rahul Mehta, who you see on screen at many prize presentations, who's currently in the US. But they truly do this with their heart and their passion, and they are really, going above and beyond to make a difference in the world of sport.
Shaurya Bhattacharya backing off from that putt as a gust catches his attention. Currently with a 3-shot lead over Kshitij Navedkar and Udayan Mane.
A very, very important putt for him to make now,
Absolutely.
Rahul. Well done.
Absolutely. Right in the middle of the cup and hammered in.
So
with
tell
a
me,
stroke of
Rahul,
authority.
I know, and many of our viewers know that Shaurya is one of your awards, and you've been his coach and mentor for several years. When he made this putt, what was the one thing that you were watching in his technique?
I'm not giving that out.
All right, you can whisper it into my ear. I need to improve my putting.
Well, a good question, Shavas, I'll tell you that. Let's take a look at Kshitij coming up from that uphill. Kshitij really has his technique cut out very well for these kind of shots. A couple of holes earlier on the 10th hole as well, that the long bunker shot that he hit, I think that was very worth appreciating. And so is this shot, with the rough so far up and nestled down golf balls inside them, winds pretty much in his face from that angle, standing on an uphill. It's tough to control the shot.
No, you're absolutely right. I find his technique extremely repeatable, and he's very self-assured when he actually hits the ball. That's it and done. He's one of the most aggressive young golfers that I know of on the PGTI, and you do see him getting low very, very often. He's a completely different mindset. Kshitij is a very aggressive, young golfer. See him getting very low very often, but also he does while he does make a lot of birdies and eagles and has always been hovering around the PGTI leaders, he also does have a fair share of big scores because of his aggression.
Well, I think a lovely putt there for Subhash Tamang, the man who camouflages his lower body along with the grass here at Zion Hills Golf County. Thank God for the whites on him. And Shivas, absolutely. I think, although it sort of goes with the territory of being aggressive. If you want to play well today on the professional tours, you are going to have to make a multitude of birdies on the golf course, right? So you have to have the ability to be able to go through 8 to 10 birdies a day. And if you want to do that, you'll have to be aggressive. And while being aggressive, if you're not, on song with your game, you're probably going to struggle a little bit and sort of end up making some bad choices, put yourself in the poor side of the holes and some poor sides of the fairways, and end up dropping some shots. So I think overall, yes, I the best would be to sort of balance it out with sort of being more prudent when you're not on song with your game, and keep the aggression when you're on song with it. And I think that's the way that one can balance it out. But having said that, Kshitij is a super player, and I think experience also sort of does that to you, right? So over time, you sort of understand, okay, I can't be aggressive when I'm not playing so well, right? So somewhat to that effect. Although I'm just sharing this from my own personal experience that aggression is
Which, of
very
course, we know
important, but you've got to sort of balance
your,
it out
your
eventually.
experience is very significant, as a top amateur golfer who's represented India and is a medalist at the Asian Games as well. And then you played some professional golf and you work very closely with a lot of these players. So the mindset is extremely important as well. Yeah. So aggression, I mean, mind you, the great up and down there.
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस। जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन। इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं।
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस, थकान वाली प्यास के लिए।
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है। मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है। जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद।
Lead a group of Shaurya Bhattacharya, Udayan Mane, and Hanifbhai Soya.
So, I mean, going back to that conversation, Shivas, that you and I were having, I think last week, Udayan Mane and Yuvraj Sandhu went into playoff at 28 under par.
That's right.
And I could be a shot or two off over there. But you think about it, unless and until players were willing to be aggressive and really put themselves out there, you couldn't be shooting 28 under par for 4 days. I can promise you that. So you have to be on top of your game today. You have to be able to take those chances. And there we have a little bit of factoid on our screens. First tournament in the state of Odisha coming up shortly.
No, the PGTI, of course, is doing a tremendous job of growing the game in the country, and it's really nice that this sort of facts, figures, and trivia, the production team is actually sharing with our viewers as well.
Absolutely,
It's
and
educational for you and me as well.
100%. In fact, I have also been a part of some of the tournaments hosted by the PGTI in Bangladesh, Nepal, as well as Sri Lanka, and that truly makes it, an international tour. And PGTI is an open world tour, so anyone from any part of the world can come in and qualify and play this. And mind you, this is one of the strongest domestic golf tours in the world, for that matter. So we take a look at our leader Shaurya Bhattacharya coming up on hole number 13.
And also the fact that our tour offers world ranking points. Part of the OWGR. I think that itself has also made it a lot more attractive for international players.
13,
our own Indian players.
13 to the 345-yard par 4, going in with a wedge. He's really watching it quite carefully. Doesn't seem to be quite happy with that one. Let's see where that golf ball has really lined it up. This is the island green
It's a very
hole on his
large one,
back
of
nine.
course. Very, very large one. But you know, the amount of players that are hitting wedges in here into this particular green and staring it down and looking at it very in a very concerned manner really tells us about the conditions and the way some of them are actually flighting it in and riding the wind. Some of them are trying to trap it and hit it low into the wind. So distance control skill and of course confidence,
And
very
everybody
important
sort
areas.
of employs their own methodology. Like you said, someone would try to bunt it down,
Right.
someone would try to trap it down. Lovely shot there for Honey Besoya, but that ball will trickle off with the slope and away from the hole. Should have a pretty decent look from left to right for an uphill birdie attempt. Yeah, some will try to trap it. Someone will probably try to draw it like a low draw kind of an effect. So
Right.
trying to chop the spin off by giving it a top spin effect. So different folks will be trying to do it in different manners. So yeah, different strokes for different folks. Just remembered.
And of course, it all comes down to the fact that these are professional golfers who hone their skills, put in hours. So they pretty much are very confident about their ball flight and the way they want to hit it.
And the disclaimer that don't try this at home should always go out just before all the great shots that these guys pull off.
Well, the reason they do is because they do try it at home and they do it repeatedly. But it's not for the faint-hearted.
Quick mention to all of the players who are doing fantastically on the course today. Underpars are hard to be found here at the Zion Hill, especially in these conditions with wind at 30 kmph. I think it might be 40 by now, by the looks of it. But Dhruv Shoran currently at 3 under par for the day. He is at 2 under par for the tournament, leaving himself at the fifth position on his own. He's still got 4 holes to go. We also have Akshay Sharma, who is playing 2 under par for the day. And we also have Vasu Sehgal, 3 under par for the day. So a couple of good numbers out there. 2 under par is also M. Dharma. So yeah, a couple of under par numbers over there, but tough conditions really testing out the professional golfers here on the PGTI. Udayan Mane.
Just doing a little bit of a statistical check. Over 50 double bogeys or worse already today, Rahul, across all the holes played. And you have double bogeys and more, triples, pentas, quads. Every possible score from a 2 to a 9 has been recorded on the scorecards today.
Interestingly, if you were to take out the hole by hole sheet over here on the PGT of India's website, which is, it's open for anyone to see, you will see that there is pinks, there is reds, and there is sky blues, and there's deep blues. So like there's all sorts of colors here on this leaderboard. And opposed to like last week's tournament, you would have probably seen reds and reds and reds, and probably
pinks,
a hint
lots
of
of pinks.
blue, right? And here we are now, and this is a really challenging week. And mind you, players are making a ton of birdies out there. It's not like they aren't, but the number of drop shots beyond those birdies is just staggering.
And some of those drop shots are in heaps. I mean, we've again seen a 9 today. Harinder Gupta had one on the back 9. And that's just crazy. Last week there were only 3 players or 4 players for the 72 holes, Rahul, that finished above par for the tournament. And this week it's quite the opposite. You literally have just a few of these boys who are under par.
Just a quick
7
understanding.
of them to be precise. Only 7 players under par.
An understanding of how the prize money is distributed on the PGTI. The top player, who will be the winner, wins 15% of the total prize money, which amounts to 15 lakh rupees for this week. The second position gets 10 lakh rupees, which is 10%. The third then makes only 5.9%, and the fourth makes 4.9%. And thereafter, as you can imagine, the number just keeps going lower and lower and lower. So yes, the biggest chunk of the money goes to the top guy, reducing thereafter up till the 50th position. And 125 players would start the tournament on the PGT of India, 124 to be precise. And 50 players plus ties make the cut. And top 50 players are the ones who make the money for the tournament. This is the Kolar Open, the prize purse of 1 crore rupees here at Kolar, the Zion Hills Golf County. This is one of the longest courses in the country, currently at 7,330 yards, located just about an hour and a half away from Bengaluru. So we take a look at Subhash Tamang, who
This is the
plays mostly over here.
255-yard par 3, brutal par 3. I believe this will be his par putt. And prior to this, we saw Tapik Ghai make a tremendous putt from about 50, 55 feet away. Very well judged pace and line. And he has a tap in left. Left after, of course, Shitij. Cleans up.
Wait, do you think he named himself right after a tapping, like a tappy guy?
Tappy. Tapping.
Tapperoo.
What are your views on Happy Gilmore too, Rahul? I know we're both purists, but the entertainment on that was just off the charts.
Purist. Well, you must be one. I'm not. I'm actually a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to golf. I do enjoy the fun parts of it, and I do enjoy the purist part of it as well. So I'm kind of on both sides. So when I look at it as a professional, I look at it from that lens, as you just mentioned.
Yes.
But from the other side, where I'm like a casual golfer now, I see it as a purely fun activity to do. So I kind of resonate with both sides.
Right.
It's a bit of like a split personality thing. Don't say that out too loud.
No, but you're right. You know that those angles have to exist within us because the honor and the respect for the game is non-negotiable. But that doesn't take away from the fun and the musty, as we say we do with our golfing mates.
I think a lot
without causing the game or the course or anyone any harm.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of banter that can be had on the golf course, and that's when it really becomes fun. Like now, I don't play that often, but whenever I do, it's more than the golf. It's about the banter that I will have with the friends that I play with, and that's the stuff that I kind of enjoy now. And having said that, I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2, although I've seen a couple of other shows like Stick. I don't know if you've seen.
I haven't seen Stick. No, I have not.
It's a really interesting show. I've had a lot of fun watching it. I finished it like in a jiffy.
Right.
So Stick's a fun show, and I haven't been able to see Happy Gilmore 2 yet, but with all of the social media stuff that I've been watching around it, I think it's right around the corner. Probably will catch it one of these weekends.
No, you must. The fun part about that the movie is the amount of cameos. It's really the cameos from the PGA Tour, current top players and past legends, including the likes of Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino and Nick Faldo. They're all there, and Fred Couples, current top boys as well.
What a putt there for Udyan Mane, making a birdie here on hole number 13.
That should move then to 4 under and 3 behind Shaurya.
So, having said that, I did enjoy the first version of Happy Gilmore quite a bit. We take a look at Udyan's putt, quite superhuman, just like Happy Gilmore.
But the release of Happy Gilmore 2 has also spiked the number of views on Happy Gilmore 1 because a lot of the youngsters who are watching Happy Gilmore 2 have actually watched Happy Gilmore 1 after Happy Gilmore 2 to get the context, because a lot of it is context driven.
Yeah. Kind of like what we do, or I don't know about you, but what I would have done with Rocky.
Right.
I would have seen the first.
Well, thank you for making me feel as old as I truly am.
What do you mean feel?
What do I mean? Yeah, there's a field left for the greens.
No, I didn't mean to do that at all. But
no. I take that as a compliment. I'm a
we've-
very proud member and player on the AVT Champions Tour, which is for the over 50s. And I must tell you a secret. When I was 49, that's when this tour was announced. And I actually got back to practicing fairly seriously to put some numbers out there. And that kind of concludes the professional amateur approach.
let's call it the Salt and Pepper Tour.
It is. And some very, when we talk about Salt and Pepper Tour, there are also some big.
Let's take a look at.
We were staring that one down. And this today is National Sports Day, so wishing all our viewers and our countrymen and sports people around the world a very happy National Sports Day. And I think that whether it is the National Sports Day of my country or your country, sports is to be celebrated no matter where we are in the world, and that's exactly what we should do with it. Sports is probably the greatest gift that man has given himself. I couldn't agree more with you because I see very often people from different age groups and generations playing together, enjoying each other's company, and truly being friends. And a lot of mutual respect.
That's Kartik Sharma rolling the dice straight down into the hole.
That was a very nice putt. Hole number 15, a 410-yard par 4.
As we look at the proceedings, if Shaurya Bhattacharya is to win this week, he is currently at 10th position on the order of merit. He should be able to jump up 2 to 3 positions on that order of merit as after this week if he is to grab that first position. Yuvraj Singh Sandhu leads currently at 88 lakh and 67,000 rupees made so far by playing 11 tournaments here on the PGTI. And Arjun Prasad follows him on number 2 at 63 lakhs and 23,000. And Angad Chima is at number 3 with 57 lakhs and 66,000 rupees. Both Arjun Prasad and Angad Chima both have had great years so far, and so has Yuvraj Sandhu. And Udyan Mane is trailing them at 4th position with 57 lakhs in the bank.
What's interesting also, Rahul, is that Arjun actually hasn't won this year, but he's been delivering some very consistent results to place himself at second spot on the order of merit.
The longest playoff on the PGTI extended up to 6 playoffs. And Adil Bedi and Udyan Mane at Bengal Open. Looks like Udyan Mane seems to like these playoffs and likes to like them last quite long, as he did just last week as well.
And bizarrely, that playoff with Adil was at Choli, where also the playoff was the par 3.
Absolutely. And so was it last week, right? At
Exactly.
Clover also the par 3. So yes,
Exactly.
Udyan Mane seems to fancy these. The lowest winning total on the PGTI is 24 under. I think that would have changed
That
just
has
last
changed.
week.
That statistic
changed just
It's
last
been
week. I
broken
think
last week as well as the week before, because it's been 31 under and 28 under in back-to-back weeks. So
correct. Unless that stat
is without
cannot probably come in
preferred lies.
with preferred lies. So that
Possible.
could be a possibility. We take a look
We
at
should-
that leaderboard here.
We should check on that. That'd be an interesting fact or piece of trivia. So good to see you there back at 4 under after that birdie. And, Shaurya, of course, still very much in the hot seat and needs to keep it going.
Well, it's important to keep things interesting. So we've got now 2 players charging up on Bhattacharya, and they will have their foot on the gas pedal as we are nearing the end of this final round of the inaugural Kolar Open. And
Drew
that big
Sheeran,
trophy.
of course, in the meantime, moving up steadily. He's birdied, 3 holes on the back 9. It's still 2 to go.
It's a good round coming up for Dhruv Sheeran.
Yep, he got 6 birdies and 2 bogeys today. He sits at 4 under. I believe that would be pretty much the best round of the day so far.
There are a couple of eagles, though, on the course that have happened, but doesn't seem like many of them. In fact, Koichiro Sato, I think, has made 2 eagles on the day today.
And he's also had some big numbers, so it's been a pretty spotty scorecard.
I have Grapevine tells me that Koichiro Sato actually, he's not a very big unit, but he packs a big punch behind the golf ball and hits it very far. He's made 2 eagles today, and unfortunately has also made 2 double bogeys to match that up. And after 2 eagles and a birdie, still lurking at about 2 over par for the day. Really goes to show that the ups and downs on this kind of a course can be anything.
That's a great second shot. That's a great tee shot on the par
3, 14th hole.
14th hole, yes.
On the par 3, 14, 255-yard hole, and one of the toughest holes on the golf course.
And the wind, obviously from the tee, moving left to right.
Well, with the pin today towards the right side on the 14th, which is 5 from the right and 19 inside, the wind will probably play as an advantage. It really depends if you can hold your golf ball in that wind, especially. Is it going to get thrown off? It has to be hit powerfully enough, has to have the yardage on it and the control. Let's see if Shaurya Bhattacharya can command that golf ball the way he'd like to. Hole number 14.
Looks like an iron, 255. Maybe not playing 255 today, but still even at about 230. That's strong blow, Rahul, with an iron. What's that? 3-iron or driving iron? No, he's missed it to the short side there. That's exactly what you were talking about.
Low side miss. So if you.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने एक चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद.
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन. इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं.
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. थकान वाली प्यास के लिए.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
Right, there we go. We're back here with the action on the course. He's coming from like a sandy patch lie here, and that seems to have found just like a little island on top of it, if I may. Udyan Mane from off the fairway here on the 14th. Seems like a bit of a challenging shot here for him. Second shot on this par 3. Can he chase that one up? And he leaves that in the rough. Wheels seem to be coming off there on this 14th hole for Udyan Mane. Hani Besoya he's on the green. He's the only player in this group to have made it onto the green for this hole. There we have the tournament director now moving alongside the leader group. It seems like there we've got Udyan actually taking a free drop from what seems like a drain or a hydrant.
Udyan, who seems to be making a comeback here after a pretty rough fall from where he was, though he has maintained that he's just held on to that position where he was 3 shots off the lead. But he was making a comeback. He birdied the last hole, trying to make up for all those lost opportunities. But here he finds himself in a tough position because this is a par 3 and he's playing his third shot, and it'll take him some doing to find the hole from here.
That's a very good effort there by Udyan Mane from off the green. He got a little lucky there with that free drop from the hydrant because that actually gave him a little better lie than what it was to begin with. That ball was nestled down in the thick stuff. As we take a look now at Shaurya Bhattacharya having his own challenges here from off the green, this is really going to depend on how good he can get that club to enter under the ball. Rough kind of a situation that he is in. As you can tell, you can barely see the golf ball, probably a dimple or two. He's got to open up that club face. He's trying to open up the face and trying to get under the ball. He's going to try to generate ample amount of spin so that he can stop it as quickly as he possibly can.
as we saw, this being the longest par 3, which is at 255. Everybody overran the green with their tee shots. Uh, Now they're trying to
That's
grab the
unfortunately
first putt.
Shaurya just snuck that club under the ball too soft, and seems like that ball has come a way short of the flagstick. So the toughness of thick stuff, you can't quite tell whether the club's going to slide under the ball, how much room there is under the ball and between the ball as well as the ground level. Is there too much of fluff beneath it? It's just hard to tell. So becomes a challenging enough situation. He has got about 20 feet remaining for a par as we go through. Shaurya Bhattacharya, 22 years of age, from EFTA Delhi, which is the Army Environmental Park and Training Academy, turned pro in just 2024 and is already a multiple winner on tour, seeking his third win here at the inaugural Kolar Open. And Shaurya maintained his 3-shot lead over Kshitij Naved Kaul and Udayan Mane as he moves into the last 4 holes of this final day. Quick to play there, Shaurya Bhattacharya. Superb effort there by Shaurya. Will drop a shot here on the 14th and go to 6 under par for the tournament. Still leads the way by 2 shots. Dhruv Shoran, who is steadily moving up that leaderboard and quite stealthily and quietly, currently at 4 under par for the day and 3 under for the tournament. He's found himself at a tie for 4th position as of right now, while the game is still underway. We take a look at Hani Besoya. Hani Besoya currently at 2 over par for the day, 1 under par for the tournament, a tie for 6th position for Hani at this stage. A superb attempt there for Honey, who would run that by about a foot or two and should be able to drain that one in comfortably for a par. As we take a look at Udayan, an interesting putt here for Udayan Mane. Honey also comes in from the DLF Golf and Country Club, turned pro in 2013, been playing pro golf for 12 years now. That's a long time. The age of just 29 years of age. You take a look at Udayan, who is putting from about 6 feet away for a bogey here on the 14th. The 14th hole here in Zion is 255 yards long, a tough par 3 with the blistering winds, as you can tell. I mean, you can be as big as Udayan Mane, you could still get moved by the wind, couldn't you? I wonder how the thin ones are feeling. Unfortunate miss there for Udayan Mane, dropping 2 shots. That was a unfortunate miss after that chip that he hit from off the green. He'll be down to 2 under par for the tournament. Udayan Mane would drop a couple of spots there. So drop shots here for Shaurya Bhattacharya as well as Udayan Mane. So Shaurya leads the way by 2 shots only over Kshitij Naved Kaul, leaving the door pretty much open for what's going to come up in the last 4 holes of this tournament, leaving things very interesting, full of drama. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping you enjoy drama because that's what we're going to be seeing over the next hour or so.
And as things are unfolding here, as you can see, the leader is there at -6. It has to be updated after the 14th hole. As you can see, he was -7 after 13. Naveed, with 4 to play, has a good chance. And Udyan has dropped a shot. Now he's at 3 under, joining Dhruv and Ghai. And well, it looks just a two-shot swing can lead us to a possible playoff for a second week in succession. You never know, but Shaurya can now probably feel the heat now because still about 4 holes for him to play. Naveed has 3 to play, so a lot of action. It's still not done for Shaurya, although he has somehow managed to maintain his lead of 3 shots when he started the round, and those 3 shots have now stand reduced to 2, and plenty of action. And that was a lovely effort by Subhash Tamang, who's had an quite an up and down sort of a round today. Quite he was almost, as they say, swinging from the sublime to the ridiculous sometimes. But he has missed from very close and he has putted from some distance. So he's had a mixed day. But the race for the top spot is really getting hot now.
Well, definitely looks like a lot of interesting stuff is going to come up on over the last couple of holes. Subhash Tamang making a birdie here on the 15th hole. That was a stellar attempt by him. And, the 15th is a 410-yard par 4 with a stroke index of 12. So it doesn't make it the toughest hole on the course. But let's see how the wind is playing havoc here on this particular hole. It has kind of a mixed bag. And in fact, Koichiro Sato ended up making an eagle over here. Must have holed his second shot on this. Kshitij Naved call. As I wait to apprise you whether this is a birdie or a par putt. Kshitij from about 15 feet away. Chidit finds the bottom of the cup here on 15th. Seems like it was a birdie, but we will apprise you shortly of what he's made over here. Kshitij Naved call making a birdie on hole number 15, as we just saw. And he has gone up to 5 under par, just leaving one shot between himself and Shaurya Bhattacharya. Things, as I said, will be unfolding dramatically as we move into the final holes. Tapping high. A bit far away for a tap in, but manages just about fine. I don't think he gained that name out of any error or any fluke. I think it was designed for him.
Well, I'm just going to interject here. I just had to. Sorry, Rakesh and Rahul, but what about Duffy Waldorf?
I always wondered, when I was a little kid, I actually, Duffy Waldorf at that point of time used to be one of the, the top players, and I always wondered if someone was to live up to their name. But Duffy Waldorf couldn't have been on the PGA Tour if he lived up to his name at all. So yeah, but Tappy guy, this works out pretty well, and there are a couple of people who are known as Sandies, and Sandies do well as well, and so on and so forth, and yep, so good fun. We're down onto the 17th hole now. The 17th is a par 4, one of the longest holes on the course, 470 yards. Stroke index of 6 here on the 17th. We have now Kshitij Naved call on the 16th. Kshitij Naved call coming up on the 16th hole, currently now at 5 under par, just one shot away. Kshitij would be looking to make a birdie here on the 16th. 210 yard par 3.
As things stand, a strong last couple of holes for
Got a very
Kshitij can
strong
make it.
shot for
Yeah.
Kshitij Naved call, stroking
Yes.
authority there on this par 3, the 16th, and also stamping his authority on that leaderboard right now. Will have just about 6 feet for birdie to tie Bhattacharya at 6 under par.
And Shaurya should clearly feel the heat now because where the ball has landed for Kshitij, if he's aware because he's playing one hole behind in the leaders group, so this could get very very interesting in the last couple of holes.
Tapendra Ghai coming up onto the same par 3. A really good shot here for Tapi Ghai as well. He will have about 15 feet uphill from the left to the right for a birdie attempt. As we can see there, Kshitij Naved calls golf ball just about waiting to be holed to tie the lead. We've also got Dhruv Shoran at 4 under par currently. 3 under par for the tournament and solo third position. He's still got 2 holes to play. So far having a blemish-free back 9. As we await to see the leaders on hole number 15. Udayan Mane has dropped multiple spots and gone down to 2 under par now for the tournament. We've got on the 17th hole, we have Kartik Sharma, the left-handed golfer from Gurugram. The 17th is a par 4 of 470 yards, one of the longest par 4s to be seen on this golf course. The wind is blowing heavily from the left to the right. That makes it even more challenging to navigate your way onto the putting surface. Greens here, though, at Zion Hills are superb, Mr. Rao. They are, I think they're a bent grass, and the players have been complimenting the greens stupendously throughout the week. They've said that they're some of the best greens they've played through the season. So that's quite something, and definitely makes the experience a lot more enjoyable when you can trust that putter and trust your lines, right?
Absolutely, and it's very important that you reach the green in regulation here because the greens are true. Once you have like read them well because you are now on that course for the fourth successive day, so you have a fair idea of the pace of the green and how things are moving, irrespective of what it shows on the stimp meter. You have to get the feel of the green. So with all these guys now, they shouldn't miss the green in regulation. I think that is one of the keys on this course because the roughs are up, and where the ball lands, you're never really sure whether you're going to get the head right under the ball there. So
Manoj S on the screen, currently at a tie for 10th position, playing on the 17th. Manoj S, he's not quite happy with that swing that he made, stepping back away from it. There we have him, all of 17 years of age from Karnataka Golf Association, turned pro just this year. Rookie season for Manoj S, and doing fairly well for a rookie season, I must say.
yeah, and like I'm sure that he must have had some experience of being on this course, and certainly he must have visited it before the tournament.
Absolutely, being in his vicinity, I think that goes without saying that he would have probably visited it. But having said that, tournament conditions can be very different and challenging than the other day's conditions. And even for that matter, let me tell you, if you haven't played in this particular wind would be different from what you had 6 months ago on the same course. It would be blowing in the absolute opposite direction, and those things actually they act as a big challenge. In fact, some of the players told me that on Sunday when they played the Pro-Am, the greens were playing rock hard on that day, and on the next day itself, the greens were spinning back. So that's the kind of nature of the game, right? the nature of the sport, the nature of the terrain that they're on this week, and that's what they have to adapt against or adapt with, if I may. Kartik Sharma slipping off. Seems like he's hit a bit of a toe shot on this 17th. Also, this is the somewhat the back nine of the PGTI season. The PGTI season started in August first week, and this is the fourth event of the second half of the season, 16th event of the season in total. In September, right after this tournament, the players move for the Chennai Open at the TNGF Cosmo Golf Course, followed by Golconda Masters at the Hyderabad Golf Association, and then the Coimbatore Open at the Coimbatore Golf Club. All three tournaments with prize purses of 1 crore rupees. And in October, the players' schedules are packed up with Bengaluru Open at the KGA, the DP World India at the Delhi Golf Club, and the Pune Club Open at the Pune Club, of course, in Pune. Tappy Guy, unfortunately, that seems like a bit of a misread, I think, for him on this putt. That ball had no break towards the left while it was moving, and speed also didn't seem enough. And I'm just tiring out by seeing the number of tournaments that the players have to play. I'm just tired of saying it, and I wonder how tired they must be at this moment before they get a week's break into the next tournament. In November, the players move to the Trident Open in Chandigarh, and followed by the Indian Oil Servo Masters in Digboy, Assam. This also being one of the oldest tournaments on the PGTI's calendar, the Indian Oil Servo Masters, both for a prize purse of 1 crore rupees. It's a very charming place, the Digboy Golf Links, one of the marvelously designed golf courses on the Indian calendar. We take a look at Kshitij. Kshitij putting this to join Shaurya Bhattacharya to tie for the lead. And he does. Fantastic putt here for Kshitij Naved Kaul, making things extremely interesting for all of us viewing this tournament.
And here is a replay. That's gentle touch, and there it slips into the cup. And that, for once, we have joint leaders up there, because we are still not sure if the leaders group have reached the 15th green.
Tamang putting for par. No trouble here for Subhash Tamang. He would stay at 2 under par for the tournament. That is Tappy Ghai moving his marker back to his original position, and that's something that, you know, if your marker is coming in the line for another fellow player of yours, then you can move it aside by measuring it out, and then you move it back to the original position before you play it. Otherwise, you will be penalized if you forgot to put it back in. There we have Tappy Ghai tapping it back in, and I am not done yet narrating the number of tournaments that we have. In December, the players move to Jaipur Open for at the Rambagh Golf Club in Jaipur, and then they play the Vishwa Samudra Open for INR 2 crores at the Delhi Golf Club, and then a new tournament on the calendar, the Sidco Open at the Kharghar Valley Golf Course in Mumbai, followed by the Tata Open, which is another tournament worth 2 CRs at Golburi and Beldi Golf Clubs in Jamshedpur. Tata also happens to be one of the oldest supporters of golf in the country. Again, Mane on the screen now. The leader group is currently on hole number 15. Udayan Mane putting for birdie. Mane trying to come up a bit from the double bogey that he just had on the previous hole. Unfortunately, Mane with a good attempt there, tap in for a par would stay at 2 under par for the tournament. So we take a look at Shaurya Bhattacharya, who is tied alongside Kshitij Navedkol at this moment at 6 under par. Kshitij, who has just made birdies on 15 and 16 to tie alongside Shaurya, currently playing the 15th hole. Putting for par to stay in the lead alongside Kshitij. Things are definitely heating up here at the Kolar Open, here at Zion Hills Golf County. One of the finest new golf courses here in India. Shaurya would go on to drop a shot here on the 15th and get to 5 under par for the tournament, trailing now by a shot. And this is what this game is about, isn't it, Mr. Rao? Things can
Absolutely.
really change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, we've been actually talking about it for the last 24 hours because anything could happen. And for the first time, Shaurya, as I said, in the last 24 hours, has felt the heat because as long as he was doing, he was being led by, say, someone like Udayan earlier. He was there, but once he started leading, of course, he did well to maintain that three-shot lead until the 14th hole, and thereafter things begin to happen for like Naveed, who had back-to-back birdies, and in response, Shaurya dropped a shot on the 14th, and now again one more here on the 15th. So back-to-back bogeys and a back-to-back, and of course at the same time. Kshitij had back-to-back birdies, so almost like a four-shot swing there. And what we see is a new leader after a long time. And Kshitij with just two to play, can he hold on to it, or can Shaurya, increase the heat and really make things happen? Because now this is a show of this will be Shaurya's character on display. Can he make things happen? Now he cannot just sit on that lead which he once had. Now he'll have to attack the pin a little more. He has to play more aggressively to catch up with Naveed and hope that Naveed doesn't have a great finish.
On our screens now is Subhash Tamang on the treacherous 470-yard par 4, the 17th. In wind blowing from the left to the right, as you can tell from the trees fluttering in that background.
Some great work by our cameraman there. Followed the ball bang in the middle of the frame.
Here we've got Tapinder Ghai now taking off on the 17th. Tapinder Ghai also is a big hitter of the golf ball. That was that swampy area that we saw one of the players yesterday playing from. I think it was Kshitij, who took off from that area yesterday, who is also the leader as of now. Pin on the 17 today is 7 in from the front and 4 from the right, which makes it pretty approachable flag location in terms of its placement. But owing to the winds and the length of the hole, it will be a tough one to get to, because when you have a hole which is this long, you're going to have long or mid irons into the green, and you can't really be too cute with these kind of shots with front flag locations. Probably a bit easier to get there with a wedge, and mid to long irons would probably be better off for a player to attack into center green pins or the back flags. Hani Besoya now on the 16th.
Rahul, as you see the leaderboard there, Shaurya with a double bogey on the par 3 16th.
So just a little correction there. That was the 15th hole. Shaurya is yet to tee off on the 16th hole. So Shaurya dropping a shot on the 15th to go to 5 under par for the tournament. One shot behind the leader. Shaurya with an iron here on the 210-yard par 3, hole number 16th. He'll be trying to get close to that flag, and he does. Good, about 15 feet away from the flag. Very makeable birdie opportunity that he gives himself, Shaurya Bhattacharya. To get back into the lead, let's see if he's able to drain that one in. Looking at the 825 group, we've got Abhinav Lohan on the screen. Abhinav Lohan not quite having the showcase of golf that he would have liked for this week. Having a bit of a tough day on the final day here at the Kolar Open, playing alongside Dhruv Shoran and Arjun Prasad. Dhruv Shoran, who's picking up shots on this day, currently at 4 under par for the day and 3 under par for the tournament at a solo third position. Putting now on the 18th. The 18th here is a par 5, and I would be thinking that Dhruv is putting now for a birdie to go to 5 under par. Dhruv Shoran, all of 30 years of age from the DLF Golf and Country Club, turned pro in 2018, is a multiple winner on the PGTI Tour, and also is working very hard on his game, trying to take it from strength to strength going into the rest of the 2025 season as well as further on into the next few years. Dhruv. Unfortunately, that missed out from the left side. Dhruv would still have about 2 feet for his par.
Talking about Dhruv, he's had a fantastic round. In fact, when all the focus is on, Shaurya and like Kshitij, he has quietly sneaked into the third spot all on his own, thanks to the hat trick of birdies on the front nine, and now on the back nine from 8 holes, he's got 3 birdies. He's had absolutely flawless back nine today, and he'll be just waiting to finish on a strong note because that will give him a share of the second spot with Shaurya. But credit to him the way he has focused on his play, because yesterday he was looking good before he lost his way a bit.
Arjun Prasad, who's having quite a season of his own this year, not quite having the day that he wanted to, would end up shooting a bunch of overpower on today's round at 5 over and finished at 7 over for the tournament. A tie for 21st position. It's probably Arjun's lowest finish this year so far. We haven't seen him much beyond the top 10 so far in 2025. Dhruv Sheeran knocking that one in and would stick around at his score of 3 under par at a tie for third position.
Talking of Arjun, he started with three successive birdies, but by the end of it, he'll be rowing those three double, like bogeys in the same. In the same round. I mean, it's so difficult for anybody to have a great start and to end up on a disappointing note. But then let's not forget he has had his moments this season. He's among the front runners on the order of merit. So he's had a tough week, but yes, at least he had a good start before he's like he somehow lost his way on the back nine.
As I now request my co-commentator Shivas Nath to come back and join in here in the commentary. Thank you very much, Rahul. And it's good to be back joining Rakesh. So things certainly getting extremely interesting here. Kshitij having surged into the lead with a solid couple of birdies, and Shaurya unfortunately slipping back, having made bogey on 4 of his last 7 holes. So things are definitely getting tough, and as rightly as Rakesh alluded, Dhruv Sheeran slowly sneaking up on the leaderboard, going about his business very quietly, playing some solid golf, and he's back in the hot seat.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद.
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन. इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं.
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. थकान वाली प्यास के लिए.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
Well, we're back to the live action now as the action gets very, very interesting. Kshitij a shot ahead of Shaurya, and Shaurya a shot ahead of Dhruv. We're coming down to the last couple of holes. Very, very tight between these two young players. Udayan certainly having fallen back to 2 under alongside Hani Soya and Shubhash Tamang. All in, a very exciting finish up ahead between the two youngsters who are going to go toe-to-toe now. Kshitij, I repeat, at 6 under and Shaurya at 5 under. And Dhruv right behind them. The clubhouse leader at 4 under, having made a par on the final hole. The final hole, of course, is a monstrous 660-yard par 5. Raised green, wide open fairway. As the boys at my beloved BPGC say, it's a full send and absolutely send it off the tee. So that's what it's going to be all about. Yesterday we saw guys getting onto the green with heavy woods, including a couple of guys hitting long irons into the green. This hole traditionally plays downwind. So certainly a very exciting finishing couple of holes. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see where this ends up. May the better player take this home.
The 17th itself, a strong 470-yard par 4. This, of course, is your penultimate group with Tapik Hai, Kshitij Kaul, and Subhash Taman. Oh, that's a great chip. My God, that is unbelievable. That is absolutely unbelievable. A great chip in from the heavy stuff. And that gives Kshitij a solid two-shot lead. How good was that? Very deliberate, slow takeaway. Obviously made perfect contact. Here's an action replay for our viewers. There you have it. Keeps his head down straight through that and makes absolutely no mistake.
Wow.
Stunning. Stunning.
Just when he needed it, I think he has put more pressure on Shaurya, who was following him a hole behind. But with a two-shot cushion going into the final hole, I think Kshitij, it is a tournament for Kshitij to lose. And for Shaurya, of course, a lot of work needs to be done.
So that's his third consecutive birdie, and he certainly, brought the hammer down when he needed to. Shaurya, of course, not playing alongside Kshitij, but in the group behind him. So Shaurya himself will have a couple of holes, the 17th and the 18th, to try and match Kshitij. So I would entirely, rule out still a tight finish. But if Kshitij could get a birdie on the final hole, that might just be the separator. Udayan, of course, in the meantime, having moved back to 3 under with a birdie on the 16th hole. So that's Udayan's way of letting them know that I'm not exactly going away. Certainly not in a hurry.
And as we watch the action on the closing stages, Dhruv Sharon has finished with a birdie on the 18th. So that gives him a clear second spot, or rather third spot.
But
with
he's also the
leaders tied.
clubhouse
Yeah.
leader,
Yeah.
and Udayan and Tapik Hai and Subhash are all on the course also at 2 under. So
Yeah.
still, and they also have a couple of holes to play. So it's still very exciting. And as we've seen from the recent past, there's a
Yeah.
lot of movement
A lot,
upward and
yeah.
downward on the leaderboard.
True.
That's he short-sighted himself, Tapik Hai. It's a right to left putt, and as we can see, the wind is blowing pretty heavily from also right to left. So that can sometimes also exaggerates the break.
Yeah. There's Subhash. This should be a given. It's quite close. But then looking at what he's been able to do this day, he has missed some very, very short putts, and he has sunk the ball from some distance, I must say. So he has had a mixed bag today, and this he should be able to finish off.
I think that's a
easy.
bit too small, but as you say never.
Yeah.
He's put it down the throat. It's about a foot and a half. Obviously, he had marked his ball because he's probably in the way of one of his co-players.
Sure.
Failing which I would imagine that he would have actually just, finished it. But then,
Finished it with
again,
the
back
previous
alluding
one,
to the strong wind. And I say wind because our co-commentator, Rahul Bajaj, wasn't too happy with me calling it a breeze.
Yes.
And that does, just make it a little difficult just in terms of setup and just getting a hands and club face set. So it just takes a little bit a while longer to just get comfortable.
Look at the size of that par 4 17th. I mean, the green over there.
No,
It's huge.
this course is huge.
Look
Please
at
look at this
this.
visual. Our
Look
camera
at
team is
this.
listening to you,
That
Rakesh.
says it all. I mean, this kind of a bird's eye view gives you a very clear picture of. And bang in the middle of the.
Zion Hills proving to be a very, very tough test for all, and certainly I believe a lot of viewers would love to go and play this course and see how they actually fare, because it's really up to the challenge.
Well and truly, and this week has been, I think, one fine advertisement for those behind the show at the Kolar Open, right from those, I mean, right from the owners to those stakeholders, the sponsors, everybody has got something out of it.
No, they've all delivered,
yeah.
absolutely delivered. So now, of course, we have the local lad Manoj S from Karnataka Golf Association, 17-year-old, putting on a solid show. It's very heartening to see that young Manoj, all of 17, is has not only just turned pro, but he's hovering around 13th position.
Yeah,
holding his own, and obviously in a top field with very experienced players, that augurs well for his future. Manoj, of course, playing alongside Karthik Sharma, who's been a standout junior golfer and amateur, now around 24 or 25 years of age, and of course Manu Gandas, who was the Order of Merit winner a couple of seasons ago, and then has been playing a lot of golf on the DP World Tour.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Shaurya has broken his his streak of bogey, kind of a sequence after the 15th by sinking a birdie on the 16th.
So much needed, very timely birdie.
Much needed, right when he needed it, and he still has 2 holes to play, 1 shot to bridge, and we're just looking at what could be a very, very exciting finish.
Oh well, I could say that 100%, and the multiple permutation combinations one can present, but it's really going to be just the better golfer and the one that keeps it tight on the closing couple of holes that's going to take this away. The putt really having gotten away. You have young Karthik Sharma on screen.
This lad has somehow lost his way. I mean, he was looking good in patches, and suddenly he finds himself at 7 over on the finishing hole.
Well, Karthik is actually 7 over for the day. He's had a string of big holes. A 5 on the 5th, and a 6 on the 8th, and then a 6 on the 17th as well. So he's 7 over for the day.
And in contrast, if you see the leaders, I mean, those two in contention at, at this moment, when they started the round, they were separated by 6 shots. Kshitij was 6 shots behind Shaurya, and with Kshitij on the final hole, he leads the overnight leader, or that we can very safely say that he's leading Shaurya by 1. So just look at the swing.
Yeah, well, that's also, sorry to interject, but that's also because Kshitij is 5 under for the day today, and Shaurya's using the expression lost his way a bit, and he's 2 over for the day. But again, Dhruv Shuran has buried the 18th as well. And
a strong finish there. Yeah,
that's a solid 4 under back nine, a 5 under for the day, and sits at with the clubhouse lead at 4 under for the tournament.
Unfortunately, Udyan has lost his way seriously in the last couple of holes because he's had a string of bogeys on the front nine, and then of course on the back nine as well. He couldn't quite get the act together.
Yes, he does seem a bit out of sorts, but it is what it is. Obviously, he's doing his best, and you see him striding up to the 17th green. Three balls, all within 10 to 12 feet. So three makeable birdie putts right there, I would imagine. And today, of course, the flag of the 17th right up in front, the 7 paces on and 4 paces from the right. So a flag tucked in behind or just over the bunker.
Yes.
And all these three lads have hit tremendous shots into the green, giving them all a look at a single putt.
What I like about this particular course is that hole number 16, 17, and 18, when you're there to finish the, like when you are aiming to come up with a strong finish, the designer has actually, designed it in a way that it challenges you before you leave the 18th. Because all 16, 17, and 18, you need to plan your strokes pretty well there. And if it's windy, you are in serious trouble because on the 17th you see the presence of like boulders around it. So if the ball god forbid if it has to find one of those boulders, your score could look really big.
Well, they are good players, and I suppose they have to find the short stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really about control and a setup that I think is a good risk and reward setup, challenging, and of course the invisible angle of the wind conditions.
Yeah.
And if it's benign, it would obviously make for easier scoring and you know, a little bit more control because it's not just about making a good swing, but it's also about visualizing, strategizing,
True.
how to use the wind, fight the wind, and many other versions therein. So yeah, here we are at the Kolar Open at the gorgeous Zion Hills, and a tremendous 7,330-yard track designed by Ronald Freem, making a very good visual in terms of the contrast between the roughs, the boulders, the water, the greens, the fairways. You have it all out here. It's an absolute visual delight and certainly a tremendous addition to the PGA Tour Rota, PGTI Tour Rota, where new courses have been added on this season and will continue to be added on. For the first time, we're going to have an event in Navi Mumbai and Kharghar. We also have an event in Odisha for the first time. So the tour continues to grow strength to strength. A lot of big money events from ranging from 1 crore to 2 crores, and then obviously the crown jewel, the DP World sanctioned event in Delhi Golf Club from the 16th to the 19th of October. Shaurya here. I believe that should be a birdie putt. Yes, indeed it is. No better time for him to make one. Very, very important putt. Has he given it enough? Has he? No, he has not. It just looked like it was just going to be coming up short, and that's exactly what happened, and it broke off to the right. So with that, clearly now Shaurya will remain a shot behind with a hole to play.
She was at least on the back nine. Shaurya has missed three opportunities to pick up a shot. Where he should have found an eagle or a birdie, he missed it. He just ended up making a par. On the following hole, he should have at least saved par. He dropped a shot there, and here it looked like a makeable birdie, which he missed. So very costly, like misses because everything looked well within his reach. Makeable like birdies, makeable eagle at one point. So
Well,
it would be very
that's
tough
just
on
the
him.
way
Yeah.
it is. He is a young man, and everybody has their days. You get a little tight, and I agree with you. This was definitely a very makeable putt. Currently, under the circumstances, he absolutely needed to make it,
Yeah.
and also the fact that he was putting uphill. Just make it relatively easier or more achievable. But it is what it is. He's doing his best. He's doing his bit. One hole to go. A shot separating Kshitij and Shaurya. And Shaurya, of course, on the other hand, absolutely bringing the hammer down.
Yeah.
He's birdied 15, 16, and 17.
And 17,
And that in itself is a massive achievement and very commendable. Shaurya, on the other hand, bogeyed the 7th, 8th, 11th, 14th, and 15th, and that's 5 bogeys in a stretch of 8 holes. So I think that's really what's hurt him, Rakesh.
Seriously, yeah. And also, if you just focus on the last 3 holes for Kshitij, all birdies, and for Shaurya, it's been bogey, bogey, birdie. So that again, of course, it does give Shaurya some kind of confidence, but the par on the last hole, that should leave him a little distraught when he tees up, on the 18th. And let's also see what Kshitij has to offer on the 18th.
Yeah, well, until then, we have Hani Baisoya cleaning up a par. Unfortunately, all these 3 boys hit great approach shots into this green, and all have gone away with pars, narrowly missing their birdie opportunities. And here you have Kshitij. I think, Rakesh, your wish is the production team's command. You wanted to see the Kshitij's second shot. That's an interesting one. Slightly uphill lie. He's sent it, as they say. Absolutely sent it. It's a hybrid, not a fairway metal. And expressionless as always.
It'll be interesting to see if he
strolling
has
around.
made the green in two, because it's a 660-yard par 5 18.
A lot of boys have been getting there today, Rakesh.
Yeah.
So I would imagine the fact that
Yeah.
he's hit a hybrid, it's just a
Yeah.
question of whether, it's not a question of distance, it's more a
Yeah.
question of accuracy.
Yeah.
And Subhash Tamang with almost the same identical lie, the ball
Yeah.
above his feet. Hard to believe that Subhash is actually hitting after Kshitij, because I would have imagined Kshitij would have been significantly longer than Subhash off the tee.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point you made.
Here we have Subhash giving it a heave-ho.
Oh, but I think it has
He
hit
flailed it a bit to the right.
slightly out,
Looks like
yeah.
it. Looks like
Looks
it.
like he hasn't got the direction he wanted.
Yeah, the body language seems to suggest it was moving right.
And they didn't quite connect from the middle of the club head.
It looked a little
Yeah.
toey, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. He
Yeah.
did come out of that shot
Yeah,
a
that's
little
right,
bit.
yeah. Depends on where Kshitij is on the. If he's on the green, there's a leaders group on the 18th. Mane getting ready.
A lot of activity today. This being the leader group, you have all 3 of them not in the lead. You have Shaurya, of course, in second place, and you have Udain in fourth place. And Honey by Soya is in fifth place. It's, of course, very tight up there. Kshitij making no mistake, getting onto the green in 2, and now leaving the heavy lift into Shaurya, who's really going to have to push the needle and make up that solitary shot. Given the fact that Rahul is with us in the commentary team and works with Shaurya, he's already laughing because I'm kind of putting him on the spot right now. Well, I'm not going to ask him anything. That will be unfair.
It's very difficult being in Shaurya's shoes right now, because he this conversation which keeps happening as a voiceover in your mind, that of course you were You at one point he was 6 shots ahead, or rather 5 shots ahead of the nearest contender. Twice he was in -10, and now he finds himself at 6 under. That means since then he has dropped 4 shots, and in the interim, Kshitij has picked up shots almost at will. So hence you see this huge swing because Kshitij started 6 shots behind Shaurya, and now he leads him by one, and he's about to finish the round, finish the tournament, being on the 18th green, and it's been a seesaw like ride for Shaurya, and should he not find a birdie now,
Well, I would
it'll
go
be
on a
tough.
limb and say this,
Yeah.
that I don't think Shaurya is even thinking about what could have been. He knows what's his task on hand right now, and he's just going to do what he needs to do. He's dropped those 5 shots, sure, but that's done. He still has an opportunity to tie Kshitij, or maybe get out there, and I think that's all he's going to be focused on right now. He's not thinking anything beyond that.
Now, he should be doing precisely that. But the point is, you are a human being and he's very young. Has he handled a situation like this before? Being in a position where he could have, just hung on to that lead. Had he been, hovering around the leader by a shot or two and you still trailed by one on the 18th green, it's still, acceptable. But maybe that conversation keeps on going, but
Well, he's a
it shows his
he's a winner
character.
on tour.
Yeah, he has won. Yeah,
He's won
he
twice.
has won twice on the tour,
So,
as
and
we are
he's been
aware
a
of.
standout amateur as
Yeah,
well. So
true.
it's more of a mental thing. It's a mentality. And as we
Precisely,
were talking
yeah.
about Kshitij as well, who's our
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
That he's basically got a very aggressive makeup, and that's basically what it is. So he's gone through the range of emotions, but everyone can have a good day, everyone can have a bad day, and then you could deliver what you're thinking.
There you have Subhash Tamang looking for a strong finish.
I'm very impressed with Subhash. Aside from the fact that he's done well this year. Last week also he's had a good finish. He's been very impressive, very very impressive. He's also a former All India Amateur Champion,
Yeah.
so definitely he's building up a strong golfing CV. And obviously we wish him all the best. It was very interesting what Rahul was also mentioning yesterday, that Subhash is used to playing golf courses, being from Nepal at the Gokarna, which has a lot of undulations, elevation changes, and this course in particular would definitely be advantageous to
Suits
that
his
sort of
play,
style
yeah.
of play,
Yeah.
or development rather. So here we have Kshitij at 7 under, putting to go 9 under, a eagle opportunity after having hit the green in 2. Definitely making a great swing under the pump, a good drive and a good second shot. So really, it's up to him to shut Shaurya out. And this from what,
He's in a
20 feet.
fantastic position
is-
now. He's 2 on, and a birdie is there for the taking.
If I know Kshitij, he wants to make this putt. He is
Yes.
not
Yeah.
thinking birdie. He's thinking eagle.
This could well decide the tournament. It's one putt. Should it go in, I think we are done with the race to the title.
So, and there you
And
go.
he has done it. He has done it.
That
This could
is
well decide
insanity.
the tournament. Yes.
Look at him.
This is what we were talking about. Eagle putt, and that leaves him 3 shots ahead of the nearest contender and overnight leader, Shaurya Bhattacharya.
That is an exceptional performance. I cannot
Absolutely.
believe how good he has been on the
Yes.
closing stages. Birdie on
And, yeah.
15, birdie on 16, birdie on 17, and an eagle on 18.
And what a time
That
to get that
is
eagle.
outstanding.
Yeah, and there it goes in, as
Judged
you
to
see,
perfection.
the replay. Absolutely well measured, well stroked putt. Finds the middle of the cup there. And what a time to get this eagle. The longest par, the longest par 5 in the country. And that is where the tournament, one of the toughest tournaments on the circuit. is decided by eagle putt. Now, I mean, he also knows it that he has shut the door on Shaurya, and let's spare a thought for Shaurya also because he has done his bit all these 4 days. But what a finish for
Well,
Kshitij,
well,
and what a day
technically,
he's had.
Shaurya still does have an opportunity by
Yes,
making a two.
mathematically yes, statistically yes, but going by the kind of rough that he has hit on the back nine, I mean, it'll take him some doing. So even if he gets an eagle here, Kshitij will still get it. So unless, of course, he gets an albatross and ties for the top spot and forces the player.
Well, I'm going to make way for Rahul now because I think I would love to, have him take us through the closing stages as the expert right there. Yep. Yep.
That's
Subhash
Subhash Tamang for his final
Oh
shot.
no,
Oh no,
that's a
that's
costly miss.
what could have been his final stroke for the tournament. Forces him to
Especially after
take
a
another look. Yes,
tremendous bunker shot.
yes,
He flew it to the higher level,
yeah,
brought it within 3 or 4 feet.
yeah. And like we have been talking about his inconsistency, like it being sublime to the ridiculous. We have seen all kinds of shot making. But at this point in time, with the tournament almost decided, with Kshitij opening a 3-shot lead, and making it extremely, extremely difficult for the overnight leader Shaurya there. And I hand over to Shaurya's mentor and my fellow commentator, Rahul, at this point in time to join the commentary box.
Well, that was one hell of a eagle putt there, Shivas. And I think that's what we were speaking about yesterday as well as early day today. That at the end of the day, a course like this brings out the drama, and you can really never be too sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been fascinating contest, and it's just outstanding to see these players go at each other. And
As
good golf all around.
absolutely,
Largely
and,
speaking.
and sometimes as biased as one might think that I would probably like to be at times with a student of mine there at the top of the leaderboard. I do think that you see we have to disassociate, and I'm a commentator here,
Yes,
and
yes.
at the same time you have to figure out that a course like this will always keep its fangs waiting. You cannot blink an eyelid on a track like this, and especially in a field like this. You've got the best players in the country here. They all want to win, all of them.
And you're right. It's the harder courses that provide the harder test, and that separates the top players
Absolutely,
from
and
each
and
other.
definitely a stupendous back nine for Kshitij Naved call. I think that is probably the only bogey-free back nine for the day, and that is absolutely tremendous, especially coming off that front nine. So, mind you, let me just go through Kshitij's scorecard today, and he has actually gone through the front nine with 3 birdies on a trot to start with, another birdie on the sixth, and then bogeys on seventh, eighth, and ninth. Thereafter goes on to make a birdie on hole number 10th, and then birdies on 15th, 16th, 17th, and goes on to eagle the 18th hole, literally taking the cherry in his own hand and putting it on top of the cake that he built up the entire day.
No, you're absolutely right. He controlled his own destiny. It's a 6 under back nine, and that is just such a solid performance. Particularly the last 4 holes, there wasn't a thing he did wrong. Trusted himself, did what he needed to, and of course now we're out there with the final group. Uday just hit a second shot. I believe he missed it slightly to the right. Now we have Honey getting after it.
It seems like a hybrid in Honey's hand.
These are very interesting hanging lie shots. I would imagine a little word from you on how best to handle a long club on a hanging lie.
Well, I think
Would-
it's a lot of it is a matter of experience. Believe you me, I can read out all the handouts and give you all the handouts and read all the books to you, as to how if a right to left slope is there, the ball's going to move towards the left. If a left to right slope is there, the ball's going to move towards the right, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Really speaking, once you're out there and you start playing these kind of shots over and over again, as a player, while keeping these little tidbits in your mind, you will devise your own ways to do it.
It's mainly instinct and feel and just
Yes.
how you feel there,
You sort
right?
of generate it over time. So I can yes, the ball will start a little bit left on a right to left slope. That's Shaurya Bhattacharya coming up on this 18th hole with his approach shot, seems to be eyeing it down, hoping that it's close. So
Well, if it's not in,
well, there's only
then
one
he's
way
in
to go
second
now.
place, yes.
Yep.
Sorry, so you were talking about the side hill.
Yes. So, I mean, there's player to player really. So, yes, in as a thumb rule, the ball will start a bit left. The ball is above your feet. Having said that, some players would just manage the club face in a manner so inadvertently during the motion that they will actually still start the ball on line. So, it's a situation and player to player based kind of an approach. As a thumb rule, they will start off in the certain lines that we all make them out to be.
So really, what you're saying is follow the process and generally feel it, think it, and commit to it.
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस। जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन। इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं।
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस, थकान वाली प्यास के लिए।
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है। मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है, जिद कैंपा वाली, जिद कैंपा वाली, जिद कैंपा वाली, जिद।
Right to left, breeze, wind, gust.
Well, that's a pretty brilliant shot there by Shaurya Bhattacharya, nearly giving himself a good look at eagle here on the 18th hole. And he is 3 shots away, so the eagle would still leave him at second
shot,
position,
yeah, still leave
one
him
shot
one shot,
away,
yeah.
but a tremendous shot nonetheless.
No question. I don't know whether you noticed Rahul. He not only hit an iron into the green, he was about 30 to 40 yards past Udayan and Honey.
Well, he does pack in quite a punch behind the golf ball. He can fly it quite a yardage. And mind you, Honey, don't go by the name Honey. He doesn't hit it any lesser.
He's the bee that stings.
Yeah, he's the bee that stings. Yeah. So, mind you, he's not hitting it any shorter. But yes, he could have got a little bit extra. Shaurya could have got a little bit extra on that one. He can tend to hit the ball pretty far on days and occasions and on certain holes. And yes, I think also on a windy coast, it also matters as to who can make the ball get high enough or get the spin right enough for the wind to catch it good.
Does he primarily hit a draw off the tee with the driver?
Yes, he primarily hits a draw with the driver, fades with the irons. So yeah, it's a pretty solid ball striker, and all in all, of course,
Right.
a good ball striker has to be
No, I asked because
playing well at this
typically
spot.
the wind is from the right, and then also the fairway slopes right to left. So he's clearly used the wind significantly to his advantage.
He's very good at moving the driver both ways. Actually, he can hit it a draw and he can hit a fade at ease.
So that's a very special gift and a talent, and obviously takes oodles of hard work to create the shot shape.
May I humbly interject here and tell you that talent being aside, he's also a very hard worker.
Of course.
And
Of course.
that really, I know a lot of guys who are extremely talented, but it's the work that really separates the wheat from the chaff.
Absolutely.
And I mean, guys like Udayan and all, everyone is a great example of that. Mind you, Kshitij Naved Kaul is a great example of that.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Hard work beats talent all day long.
All day long.
No question about it. That's a great little pitch shot. He unfortunately has not got the desired slope.
So like how we were talking earlier about hanging lies, just to have a little bit more chatter about that. Um, I think that what happens is that over time, beautiful trophy there of the Kolar Open Golf Tournament at the Zion Hills Golf County. What a brilliant trophy
It's
that is! An
gorgeous,
old
shiny.
school
Yes.
silverware, and whoever Kshitij Naved Kaur is going to be taking that home with him. That'll be a bit of excess baggage, though. I'm guessing he's not too worried about that at this moment.
Yeah, he's quite a character. I can visualize him falling asleep holding on to this trophy tonight.
I mean, who wouldn't, right? So, like about hanging lies and all. Uh, there are thumb rules as to what the ball will do and
Right.
how things will react. But eventually, those degrees will be managed by the player themselves. Like they will
Right.
find their own recipe with it, right? So even though it'll say that the ball will start left, but how far left will it start for a hanging lie for which player will differ quite a bit. We take a look at Honey Besoya. Quite the gentle name, but quite not the gentle golfer. I can tell you that. Honey, putting for eagle.
Yes, he's a long way away, of course. Seems to be tracking along very nicely. Well done.
Brilliant putt here for Honey Besoya, trying to clean it up as cleanly as possible on this 18th hole. Currently at a tie for fifth position at 2 under par. He should be moving up to 3 under par to move
Into
to a
tie
tie
for
for
fourth.
fourth alongside Uday and Mane. Dhruv Shoran has finished 5 under par for the day and 4 under par for the tournament. He too has had a great back nine today, 4 under par on this tough back nine for Dhruv Shoran to finish at position number 3.
Of course, Udayan has the opportunity to join him at tied third, uh, should he make this putt for birdie. But of course, this putt not easy by any means. He's still on the upper shelf. I believe he caught his little pitch shot from behind the green a little thick, so wasn't really able to get it over the slope onto the shelf where you have the pin cut.
Uday and Mane, who represented India at the Olympics just a couple of years ago, in fact, has had quite a stellar amateur career himself.
It was the Tokyo Olympics, right, Rahul?
Yes.
I recall his participation was a bit in doubt, if I recall, because of the COVID year and well, that's a good effort, but no birdie there.
What a putt that was. The ball was quite end to end on roll there.
So he finishes at 3 under and I believe tied fourth for the tournament.
When we say end to end in golfing terms, you're basically talking about how good the ball rolls.
Yes.
From the start onwards, like from the get go, from the putter face onto its line, and it really goes to showcase how good a stroke that someone might have. Wobbly balls would basically not be end on end rolls. And bouncing balls, of course, will also not be end to end rolls. So we're always looking for a golf ball that is rolling straight from the get go of the putter face. Let's take a look now at Shaurya Bhattacharya, who putts for eagle on this 18th hole. Kshitij Naved Kaur, of course, has closed this golf tournament, the inaugural Kolar Open, for a prize purse of 1 crore rupees. Shaurya Bhattacharya, who's enjoyed quite good golf this week through and through at the Zion Hills Golf County, hoping to close at a happy note so that he can enjoy his travel backwards.
He's a good looking stroke. Has he given it enough? No.
Left it just about in the jaws of the hole.
He's been doing that all day on the back nine, just leaving them a shade short.
I think he missed out on having that protein shake, did he?
Yes, well, probably should have had the protein shake.
All smiles for him.
But it's still, I feel for the kid.
He's had a good showing through and through, and has been playing
run.
pretty consistently through
Still shot a
the
1 over
season
today
so far.
with all the theatrics. But truly, Kshitij took it away from him, with his closing performance of the last 4 holes.
No, I think he truly stamped authority on the course and showcased some brilliant golf. And for the viewers, of course, having a look at a golfer coming up onto the back nine of a golf course as tough as this and shooting 6 under par on that back nine is just tremendous. It's absolutely staggering. With a 7 under par round, that is the best round at the Zion Hills. It's actually a course record, but it cannot be recorded as we've played preferred lives today.
So sort of an unofficial course record, sadly, I would say. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. As we take a look at Mane now closing out.
That's a par.
Mane also trying to get form of his own back into the game. Tremendous week here at the Zion Hills Golf County, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever has just about joined us, we have had Kshitij Naved come in to the back nine and shoot a 6 under par to finish at a total score of 9 under to win by 2 shots over Shaurya Bhattacharya. Dhruv Shoran finishes at 4 under par for the tournament with a final round of 5 under par. So tremendous golf which was showcased here. A tough course here at the Zion Hills Golf County. Only 7 players have finished in under par figures for the week. Quite unlike what we usually see in professional golf. Quite a golf course that has been brought up over here by the founders of this locality. Kolar is a gold mining town just on the outskirts of Bengaluru. That is where this golf course is situated.
And just so our viewers understand how well Kshitij and Dhruv have played today, Kshitij has shot a final round of 7 under and Dhruv 5 under, and then the next best round is 2 under par.
There you go.
And I think it's just another handful that have been broken par today.
There you go.
Probably count them on one hand. That's how good it's been today by these boys.
Absolutely goes on to showcase what toughness the golf course has presented. 30 kilometers per hour was the wind today on the golf course. Absolutely tough conditions. Pins were difficult. Players had to navigate all of that and more, along with the thick rough that is bestowed upon this golf course. So, a brilliant showing of golf here by Kshitij to be finishing at 9 under par. This has been the
Hello everybody, I'm Shraddha Shinde and right now I am at the Tarun Sardesai Golf Academy. And if you're wondering I'm going to do a presentation right now, I'm not going to do that. Rather, I would like to present to you the man himself, Mr. Tarun Sardesai. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to understand everything about what's happening in the studio.
So this is a force plate studio where we're actually testing how the players use the ground. Now it's very important in golf because a lot of things that you can't see on video, you can actually see through these force plates. Now this is one of its kind, I would say, system in India that we brought in, and basically help the player maximize their force output.
Okay.
So how efficiently the player uses the ground is very important for the players to know, especially at a higher level. When you have a junior golfer or a young player, it doesn't matter so much. But when you're talking about professionals, like we have Shaurya Bhattacharya's data out here, and he's got fantastic data. So he knows that he's using the ground very efficiently, and he doesn't have to worry about anything in his golf swing.
Wonderful, that's incredible. So would you like to show us how exactly it's done?
Yeah, so basically the player will stand on these force plates, you know, and he'll hit the ball. And then we'll get the data that you see over here. And what you're seeing here is his total torque, the different kinds of torque. You have the frontal plane torque and the horizontal plane torque. These are the most important torques that we look at.
Okay.
And once we know how efficiently they're moving, you can see his curves are very, very, very efficient, moving up the right way. There's no jagged edges or not too many of them. So we know that his movement is very, very efficient. And these arrows that you're seeing here are his pressure arrows.
Okay.
So we know how the center of pressure is working along with the center of mass. And when you have a greater distance between the center of pressure and center of mass, that's called the momentum. A little technical, it's physics. That's when you know that the player can produce the maximum power.
Wow, that's great. And in India, like this is the only facility where you do this?
Yes, this is the only one. This is called GASP. GASP technology, I think, is from the UK. Steve Gold, who's a very close friend of mine. We thought about this for many, many years, and I finally got it done this year with with entire capability and the software. It's one of the best in the world for sure. And we're just so happy to have it here. And right now, we're getting data from players so that we can actually study how we can help Indian players get better.
Well, this is a very important poster, and at TSG Academy, diet is a very integral part of the students' lives. So, Tarun sir, I want to understand from you that how do you take care of the diet when it comes to the students?
Yeah, I think you said it very well there. It's very important that the students eat right. So, at our academy, we have very healthy, nutritious food. We don't allow things like sugar, no ketchup, no bread, anything that can kind of harm the performance of the player. And every player also has their blood tested every few months so that we know nutritionally how they're doing, whether their vitamin D levels are low, vitamin B12 levels are low, and our nutrition expert helps understand each player and then gives them prescribed supplements as well. So at this academy, we don't have any junk food. Meals are eaten on time. They're given about 6 meals a day.
Okay.
Even if they're practicing and they have to have a snack, the staff will come and give them their meals there as well. So we want to make sure that they're fueling perfectly well, they're hydrating well, and that's how we can achieve peak performance.
And these diets, are they curated according to the individual needs?
Yes, they are. So each individual goes through some testing. And while the basic food is generic, where everybody eats that, the players get specific ideas on what they should be eating more of and less of.
Wonderful. One very important question, are they allowed a cheat meal?
See, the players travel anyway for tournaments, so they are having their cheat meals. But while they're at the academy, we don't allow that at all. But we do have birthdays every now and then of course, we do organize a cake for those kids.
Wow, we love the discipline here. Well, these kids here, of course, stay away from their family. And with kids, they do tend to get sick once in a while. So how do you take care of them?
We have this infirmary here, and in fact, we have our nurse, Stella, who's a full-time employee here.
Okay.
Not only do kids fall sick, but they also tend to hurt themselves a lot. They fall off their cycles, they fall down on the road when they're playing. So I think it's important for us to have this space. It's, it's very unpredictable when kids are doing all these things, but the first line of defense is here. If they do fall sick, if they have a stomach problem, they're taken care of. But if something more serious happens, we do then take them to the nearest hospital, which is just about 10 minutes away.
Wow.
So this is a typical space where the student will spend if they're sick. It looks a bit lonely, but actually they're quite close to all of the action. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, so they're very close to the nurse, so that no matter what time of day or night, they will get some attention.
Well, Zion Hills is absolutely blissful, so I definitely want to see where the students live.
Sure, let's take a look at one of their rooms.
Okay.
So this is a typical room that we have. As you can see, the kids share their spaces. A very important rule in our academy is the kids have to make their own beds.
Okay.
And if they don't make their beds, they are sent back from the golf course to make sure the bed is made. It's a very, very important task. So every kid has a locker and a nice space, and they've got a lovely balcony space also that looks over the golf course. I think it's a very nice, peaceful space for the kids to be.
Absolutely. So we have like 3 students staying this.
Yes,
good.
this is one of the bigger rooms. We have 3 beds, and then the smaller rooms we have a double sharing system.
Okay. And do they fight here?
Well, yes, they do, but that's normal, I think, when you have kids. So, of course, we have to control all of that. Make sure that the kids who are getting along are rooming together.
Okay. Wow, and you have some player pictures also on the
Yes, that's
wall?
interesting. We have actually named every single room in the academy after a famous player. And we have a famous quote also there to motivate the kids.
Wow, so you're keeping them inspired day in, day out.
Absolutely, they need to be.
Well, Tarun sir will now take us through the amazing facilities that we have at the TSG Academy. And with him, we have Sumit and Sanjay. So they're going to take us through the incredible gymnasium that we have here.
Yeah, so Sanjay actually heads strength and conditioning, and Sumit is head of the entire sports science department, but he's also a physiotherapist. It's very important, I think, that kids get trained the right way, and our entire system is very scientific, led by these 2 gentlemen over here. So behind us, of course, we have the strength section. It's where they do certain lifts, and we've got a nice space around here where everything is taken care of, and we're more of a functional training system.
Okay.
It's not purely just regular gym work, and that's what makes it very unique. And what's also unique is that Sanjay and Sumit assess each player individually every few weeks. So it's not a generic workout that's given to any player. The player's workout is based on how their body is functioning, right? Wow. So this section over here that I'm going to take you to is the prehabilitation section, where Sumit and his team work on the player's mobility, stability, range of motion, right? So this is very, very important for the players to stay injury-free. So Sumit's primary job is to keep the kids, injury-free, and Sanjay works on their strength. So this is the prehabilitation space. It's a lovely space where the kids do all their stretching and mobility exercises. And inside here, the space that you just saw is all the strength work.
Okay.
And that's, Sanjay's department.
Incredible. And so I want to understand from you, like, do you have batches or how do the students come in?
Very, very good question, actually. Yes, we have a 3:1 ratio where at the max, 3 kids are training with 1 trainer, right? So we have two strength and conditioning trainers and 2 physios here, and the kids train in batches for sure. So they come and go through the day. So it's interspersed with their golf training.
So there's truly some personalized attention that these kids
Very,
get.
very personalized. I think our kids are some of the fittest in the country now.
Yes, 100%.
Thanks to my team.
Your team is doing incredible.
So there's one more important space I want to show you, because when it comes to athletes, there are always few niggles, few injuries that happen. And that's what keeps Sumit and his team also on their toes. So over here, we have a treatment room. Of course, a lot of kids go through a lot of pain here because sometimes a sports massage can be very, very painful, or a release massage can be very painful. I myself have gone through a lot of pain, and Sumit, loves to hear my screams. But out here, we have all kinds of treatment, even as far as dry needling, to make sure that the kids' muscles are taken care of. So no issues that that are present here are not taken care of. And Sumit and his team do a great job in this room as well. So often, if you're outside, you might hear some screams of ooh, ah, then Sumit's doing some serious
And the
work
credit
with the player.
goes to Sumit.
Yes.
Well, Tarun sir just told me that this is the place where students study, but the primary focus here is golf. So I want to know from you, do they study actual subjects here like history, geography, or do they study golf here?
That's a very good question. And they do a lot of online schooling here, and it's very hard to get a sportsman to focus in school. But we try our best, and the kids only do about 3 hours of schooling a day. That's the advantage here.
That's
which they love. And this is a space where they do their online schooling.
Okay.
Everybody has an individual computer, but sometimes you do find them watching YouTube videos of some golfers.
Is
So
it?
yeah, that's
And
something
what's
we
their
can't control.
punishment?
Well, we have to let them be when it comes to golf, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't do too much. And then as we move this way, this space, we have a library where the kids can actually read some books, and also many of the kids use this space as a study center as well, because you do have kids who have their own laptops, they'll study by themselves.
Right.
They're doing the international curriculum. They can sit here, and also, we have them giving them access to books. And it's important because, on our campus, we don't allow cell phones, right?
Yes.
So they have to have some way to pass their time, and we encourage them to read. In fact, many of our kids who've never touched a book in their lives have actually started reading at the academy.
Wow.
So it's been, nice to see that. And if we walk this way here, we have our amphitheater. Now, a big part of our academy is mentoring these kids, talking about different things, educating them on how to be more professional with their, with their golf. And so every Saturday, one of the teams has a meeting with the players. It could be the nutrition team, it could be the sports psychology team, it could be the physiotherapy team, or it could be the strength and conditioning team, as well as the golf team. So they're constantly being educated every week on various things that they can do better to be better players.
Wow, it's lovely, and I think this space has a lot of positive vibes as well.
It does, and that's, I think, one great thing about Zion and the academy, and I've loved being here for the last 10 years.
Last 10 years.
Yes, that's
wow.
how long I've been here.
Sir, just off the script, I would really want to know what really inspired you to start this academy.
So, when I was growing up, one of the things I really missed as a golfer or somebody who wanted to be a pro was a structured system of training, right? And when I went to boarding school, I found that I excelled in all sports there.
Right.
Only because of the structure and the routine. So I wanted to bring that in here for the kids, but also what was happening in these times was kids were going overboard on their cell phones. They were finding it difficult to be focused. And I also wanted to have a space that was extremely focused, or what I would call an environment of excellence. And that's what I wanted to create. And for me, it's always about creating champions for the country. And so far, in the last 12 years, we've produced 14 national champions.
Wow.
A few international champions as well. But I want to keep going, and I want to make sure that India becomes a powerhouse in golf.
Sir, thank you so much for being so inspiring. Okay, one more question. So you, as you mentioned, that you've been here more than 10 plus years now.
Yes.
So what's this one thing that you really love about Zion Hills?
Oh, I think I just love just being on a golf course. I think I'm very fortunate to have my workspace walking distance away from my home. And also, it's great for my kids to be growing up here, because in the city, they can't even leave the house. Here, my kids, they disappear for hours on end. They get on their cycles, they roam around, and they're only 6 and 9 years old. So I love the open space and I love the vibe here, like you said, it's beautiful.
We are at the state-of-the-art putting studio, and I would say one of a kind in India with the kind of technology that we have at the TSG Academy. So Tarun sir, would you please take us through it?
Yeah, so what we have here is a SAM's studio along with the GAFS software, which actually puts a 2-camera system in place as well. And we also are testing the player's pressure movements.
Okay.
So when the player putts, we get a lot of club data from the SAM Putt lab. So we know exactly how the putter is moving, what the shaft is doing, what the face is doing. At the same time, we can also measure if there's any pressure shift while the players are putting. So that can also cause some inaccuracies. And what happens is then we get data like this, and this data actually tells us how the player is done. So as you can see here, every single aspect of his putting stroke has been looked at. Now, right from how he aims the putter when he addresses the ball to where the putter is pointing when he actually hits the ball. So very, very important, and how his putter is moving, the path, the impact spot, how the ball is launching. Basically, every single parameter that a good player would need to be able to help his or her putting get to the next level is out here. And we generally bring the players in here, every few weeks, because one of the things that can happen is they can always regress a little bit if they go for tournaments. The technique does change. So what this helps us do is have a blueprint for every player, so we know that we can just come back to the blueprint every time there's a problem.
Right. And sir, may I know who analyzes this?
So all of our coaches are trained. I've been trained personally by a person called Phil Kenyon, who's one of the top coaches in the world. He trains all the PGA Tour players, and I have passed on all my knowledge to my team as well. So any of my coaches here can bring a student in and use this facility.
Incredible. Well, sir, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for bringing this world-class facility, this world-class infrastructure to us. And it was great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was all of the action from the Tarun Sardesai Golf Academy, one of the top-notch academies in the country. There we have our leaderboard, the final leaderboard here for the inaugural Kolar Open 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner is Kshitij Naved Kaul with a score of 9 under par over 4 days, followed by Shaurya Bhattacharya at 7 under, Dhruv Shoran at 4 under par, and followed by the rest. Hani Besoya, Udayan Mane, Subhash Tamang from Nepal, Tapendra Ghai, Manu Gandas. As we now move into the highlights for the day. So Dhruv Shoran draining in one of the putts of his stellar round. This was on the 10th hole early today. Manoj S on our screens. Manoj S, youngster, 17-year-old youngster, playing his rookie season on the PGTI of India, draining putts like no one's business. There we have Kshitij Naved Kaul, who has he probably put that putter on a stove this morning, making it super hot before he landed up on the course. We have Hani Besoya, a man whose only the name is sweet. Packs a big punch behind the golf ball, really attacking that par 5 flag location on the 10th. Udayan Mane pulling off the look of the beak to the back. Stellar putt there from about 60 feet away. Kshitij Naved Kaul with another one of the birdies in the back nine. He just couldn't stop himself, could he? Taking 4 birdies and an eagle, 6 under par on one of the toughest back nines of the country's golf courses. Shaurya Bhattacharya. There we have Kartik Sharma gaining one of the birdies, the left-handed golfer. There we have Kshitij Naved Kaul with another one of the birdies. I think this was the 15th hole where he started off 15th, and then here on the 16th, the par 3, no trouble. He's really making use of that zero torque on his putter and draining everything in. Shaurya Bhattacharya.
Well, I hope they actually show his chip in on the 17th as well. Kshitij had a tremendous little chip in from very high grass. There we have it on screen.
There we have Kshitij. You do need a lot of these shots. Brilliant shot by Kshitij. In fact, he spoke earlier also today, Shivas, that Kshitij's shots from this type of thick rough is really, really good. And that final eagle to stamp his name onto the Kolar Open's trophy.
Yeah, he actually
Kshitij
knows he's
Naved
done
got.
it.
Absolutely. There
Very
was
happy for him. Well, that's a very rare expression. Normally, he's the Iceman expressionless and well-deserved smiles all around.
well, after this, there was only an outside chance for Shaurya Bhattacharya to have hold his second shot for an albatross.
Inaugural Kolar Open powered by Zion Hills, the PGTI's first ever outstanding fascinating contest this week. The tournament was highlighted by brilliant performances by the likes of Hani Besoya, Udayan Mane, Shaurya Bhattacharya, Kshitij Naveed Kaul and Dhruv Shioran, to name a few. Finally, we had a champion who managed to soak in all the pressure and triumph over the tough conditions. Now, to begin proceedings, I'd like to invite here on stage Mr. Amandeep Johal, CEO, PGTI, and Mr. George, Managing Director, Zion Hills Golf County. I'd now request Mr. Amandeep Johal to kindly address the gathering.
What an amazing venue. What an amazing venue. George, your entire team, Zion Hills, my God, you can make out from the applause. You know, most of the players are telling me this is a European Tour event. This is a European Tour venue. And soon shall happen. We'll make it happen. I think the players have enjoyed it, and I'm sure your team at Zion Hills have enjoyed it too, have enjoyed hosting us. I think the best quality golf was at show. Kshitij has, what an amazing finish. Birdie, 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 eagle. Kshitij, who does that? Shaurya it looked as if he had taken away the title, but Kshitij had other plans, and many congratulations to both. I think great golf by most of the PGTI professionals. The cut was rather high, but I think it shows the teeth of this golf course, the quality of golf that needs to be played to tame Zion Hills. Many congratulations. Many congratulations to your entire team, George, Gaurav, Pavan, Jay Kumar from the golf course, Asad and Saikat from the F&B team, thank you very much. Your social media team, Adiba, I think she did a great job. And I want to thank all my PGTI players, referees, and the entire staff. I think they've done a commendable job, a great job at this wonderful venue. The PGTI is going from strength to strength. We are going to have 15 events in the back half. I think over 25 events and 33 crores in prize money. Soon we will be announcing a title partner for PGTI very soon. So which is great things to come for PGTI. The partnership from PGA Tour and DP World Tour has been extended. It's a great avenue for PGTI players to reach the higher stages. And I'm very proud that the PGTI is going the way it is. It can't happen without my tour partners, Rolex, Amul, IndusInd Bank, Victorious Choice, and now Amul and Campa have joined the bandwagon, along with Amrutanjan Electro Plus, Golf Plus Monthly, Golf Design. Doordarshan is showing PGTI on its network. You know what? There's so many people who have actually called me and said, we watched the PGTI live on Doordarshan on different airports. Last week in Bangalore, and I'm sure it'll be shown many, many, many events. Once again, thank you all, and many congratulations to Kshitij, and many congratulations to Zion Hills. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'd now request Mr. Amandeep Johal to kindly present a plaque as a token of appreciation on behalf of PGTI to Mr. George, MD, Zion Hills Golf County. I would now like to request Mr. George to kindly address the gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, congratulations to all the players for putting on such a wonderful contest. Every day we had a new leader, and today when we thought we had a runaway winner yesterday, Kshitij fought back, and that was a wonderful, wonderful performance today. So congratulations to you all. Not sure how many of you know that not very far away from here, 20 kilometers from here, KGF, Kolar Goldfields, has one of the oldest golf courses in the world outside of the UK. It is still functional, though now a brown course. So at one point of time, about a century and a half ago, this was a thriving place for golf. So we are very, very happy that we've been able to put Kolar back on the golf map of India with this first Kolar Open. Thank you all. This is a very special event for us. As a course, we are a new baby, and I think the PGTI team, Amandeep, Sampath sir, Vikas, all of you took a big leap of faith when couple of months ago you came here, said, I think we'll take a chance, we'll do it here. So thank you for that faith. The team put in an enormous amount of effort. The operations team, the maintenance team, I think many of them have been sleeping here the last several days, have not gone home. The F&B team, the Pro-Am, they cleared up the dinner at 2 o'clock and we're out there with the breakfast at 6 in the morning. I think we've served more meals here in the last 5 days than we serve in 2 months. So thank you very much, team, for having risen up to this occasion. And I hope, regardless of winning, losing, all of you had a great time. The course put on a great fight, I think. And Ron, the architect, will be very proud. My thanks to him. He can't be here today. And George Philpott, who helped us with the complete design. My thanks to all of them. And look forward to more such events here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd now request Mr. George to kindly present a plaque as a token of appreciation on behalf of Zion Hills Golf County to Mr. Amandeep Johal, CEO, PGTI. We'll now be announcing the winner of the social media contest for the professionals, and I'd request Mr. Amandeep Johal to kindly do the honors by presenting the check to the winner for the best reel of the week by a PGTI professional to Ronil Kukar with over 60,000 views. More than 60,000 views for Ronil. He shot his reel in front of the National Sports Day branding. Today being the National Sports Day, 29th August. Another big announcement coming up. There was a course record set this week in round 2 by Udayan Mane, 5 under 67, when we were not playing preferred lie. I would request Mr. George to kindly present a plaque on behalf of Zion Hills to Udayan for setting the course record during round 2. I would now request Mr. Amandeep Johal to kindly present a check of rupees 1 lakh to Udayan on behalf of PGTI for setting the course record here at Zion Hills Golf County. Some more announcements, big announcements coming up. First is for the 3rd place finish. That was by Dhruv Shioran. Dhruv, I'd request you to kindly join us here on stage because you'd be getting a 1-year complimentary membership at Zion Hills, and I'd request Mr. Jay Kumar, co-superintendent, to kindly present the membership voucher to Dhruv. Mr. Jay Kumar, can we have you on stage, please? Congratulations to Dhruv. It's now time to announce the runner-up and I'd request Mr. George and Mr. Amandeep Jol to kindly jointly present the prize to the runner-up, Shaurya Bhattacharya, scores of 70, 72, 66, and 73 for a total of 7 under 281. I'd now request Mr. Gaurav Syal to also kindly join us on stage. I request him to present the 2-year complimentary membership voucher to the runner-up, Shaurya Bhattacharya. Finally, it's time to announce the winner, and I'd request Mr. George and Mr. Amandeep Jol to kindly jointly present the prize to the winner, who is Kshitij Naveed Kaul, with a total of 9 under 279, scores of 74, 69, 71, and 65. A birdie, birdie, birdie eagle finish. He chipped in for birdie on the penultimate hole and made a 30-feet eagle conversion on the final 18th hole to snatch victory here at the Kolar Open. He gets a prize money check worth rupees 15 lakh for his effort. It is Kshitij's 5th professional title. I'd now request our 2 dignitaries to kindly present the 3-year complimentary membership voucher here at Zion Hills Golf County to the champion, Kshitij. He gets 3 years complimentary membership here at Zion Hills Golf County. Our champion this week, Kshitij Naveed Kaul. Total of 9 under 279. It's now time for the customary winner's speech, so I'd request Kshitij to kindly do the honors. Watch that walk, he's bouncing.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a week. Thank you so much to all the sponsors and tour partners for everything. And PGTI is just growing from strength to strength every day. And I look forward to the upcoming season. Huge thank you to the golf course, Zion Hills. The course was in amazing condition all week and amazing winds also. Hello. Yeah. Thank you to Mr. George for having us this week. It was a really, really good test of golf, and we had a great time. I think I speak on behalf of all the professionals who said we really had a good time at this golf course. Huge thank you to Mr. Gaurav Syal for everything, for managing everything this week, and Mr. Pawan Kashyap and Jay Kumar sir from the golf course. The course was in amazing condition. And Anand, who used to drive us every day from the all the players, all my co-players, thank you so much. I played with Shaurya yesterday, and he showed me how it's done, so I could just copy it today. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to the champion once again.
And my mom, as always. So thank you so much.
Most important. Finally, before we wrap up, a big thank you to our host venue, Zion Hills Golf County, Mr. George, Mr. Gaurav Syal, Mr. Pawan Kashyap, Mr. Jay Kumar from the course, Food Crate, Shaikat, and the F&B team here at Zion, Ms. Adiba from D5 Sports, all players, referees, and officials, and of course, PGTI's tour partners, Rolex, Amul, IndusInd Bank, Victorious Choice, Campa, Amrutanjan Electro Plus, Golf Plus Monthly, Golf Design India, and ABP Live and Waves OTT by Prasar Bharati for their fantastic coverage over the last 2 days. Can I now please request the winner, runner-up, and all the other players, as well as the co-staff here, to kindly join us on stage for some pictures. All players, the staff, please join us here.